I'm a survivor.
Yo, it's Varner from Survivor, the Australian outback in Cambodia. Second chance. You don't have to dig. No climbing, no lying to anybody. You have found Survivor's hidden idol on the internet. And you didn't even need a clue, because they ain't got one. It's Survivor Talk with D&D. Dwayne and David. Take it away.
So if you feel me, put your hands in
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Survivor Talk. I am with D&D. I'm Dwayne.
And I'm David.
And he's excited to be David, my friends. I promise you, he's excited. And we're just two best friends.
Very excited.
Talking about the show we love. David, it's funny because I'll go back to listen to our podcast, and it'll be like, hey, this is Survivor Talk with D&D. I'm Dwayne. And I'm David. And we're just two best friends talking about the show we love. It's like you do really well for like 4 weeks, and then you start going back to the old, hurry up and talk, Dwayne. I'm David.
Yeah, get it over. Here we go. Come on.
Yeah. Man, we got a fun show ahead. We're going to recap and discuss episode 6. We're going to tackle our listener feedback. We're going to look at iTunes reviews, if we have any. Mm-hmm. And the all-new Mikko Challenge, where I battle against a random listener drawn from the infamous bucket of drawing randomness. Or David just picks somebody.
Oh, am I drawing or are you drawing?
You draw. Hey,
okay.
There were 2 people. Now there's only one. So there's only one person.
Okay, so I'm going to mentally tell you who that was, and you're going to... Okay.
Yeah. We will draw the name at the last minute so they can't cheat. So stay tuned. Mm-hmm. How would one cheat on the Mikko Challenge? I don't know.
You watch the show 200, 300, 500 times. That's still not cheating. That's studying.
Yeah. Oh, Rogeezy in the chat room says, hey, D&D, love the podcast. Tried to leave a review, but Apple wouldn't allow me for some reason. Keep up the good work. Sign into your account. Or maybe you don't have an account. I don't know. All right, here we go. Thanks for downloading our show, watching it on YouTube, or however you feed us into your brain. We thank you very much. So thank you. If you are watching live on our website, stwdd.com, enjoy the chat room. There's already several people there talking, including someone who is Michelle with one L. Could it be? Could it be? Could it be? All right. Coming April 3rd, Sunday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Kelly and Friends, a patron podcast. My friend, we are gearing up and getting ready. It's a call-in show for our D&D patrons. Kelly Wentworth has invited her dad, Dale, Jeff, Varner, and one more surprise guest for an open discussion conference call. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you want to be a part of the D&D, of this particular D&D patron perk, sign up to be a D&D patron on patreon.com/Survivor Talk, or see the link on our website. It's on our front page. Just scroll down. There's Patreon and there's Amazon right there. All active patrons as of March 30th will get the phone number, both national and international, David. So if you're living over in the UK and you want to get up, or you're living over in Finland and it's 3 o'clock in the morning, you can get up and make the phone call and be part of the show.
That'd be awesome.
David, do you seriously just kind of sit back and just wait for us to get to the recap? Is that what you do? You just kind of let me talk and don't even listen anymore?
Are we at the recap yet?
Oh, shut up. Active means, by the way, that your credit card was not declined. So don't think, hey, I signed up as a patron with someone else's credit card that didn't work, and I'm going to fool them. No. A huge shout out and thank you to our newest D&D patron, Steven Sinclair. Thank you. Alexandra Monroe. Debbie Sapp. I feel like I'm at a high school graduation. Sarah Bernhardt. Please hold your applause.
So all the diplomas.
And last but not least, Mark Percy, who does our awesome graphics. We now have... David just said, and then died. Just went away. He didn't literally die. But he's gone. No, now he's back.
Yeah, you just froze and I just froze. But nobody's streaming over here. Gracie's on TV.
Yeah. Well, anyway, now we have 38 patrons, David. We have 2,500 watchers and listeners and 38 patrons because they're awesome.
That's the power of Kelly.
It really is. Okay, I have a joke before we get to our listener. Before we get to our iTunes. I'm really on it tonight, David.
You know, we're just going to call this first run a Julia. We're going to put a line through it, and we're going to retitle it Pete. And go from there.
Very good. Very nice, David.
I'm back. Okay, I'm ready. Are we recapping yet? Oh, we're doing jokes. Okay, do your jokes.
So today I was at a senior adult lunch because, you know, I'm a worship pastor at a church, and we have a senior adult group, and they're called the Young at Heart because they may be over 70, but they're young in their heart.
There you go.
Right? And they had the Athens Limestone Dulcimer Group, which, believe it or not, was rather entertaining. All right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're all, but before they play, this one guy says, one of the guys said when I was 8 or 9 years old, we were so poor that when it came time to dinner, we'd gather around the table and Mom would read us a recipe. And then after we all got done laughing, he goes, my brother was hard of hearing and he almost starved to death.
I'm sorry. That's all the laugh I can get out. So we apologize now for the coughing and my voice in general. So
David's sick. I'm sick. It's a rough day. We're
old.
This.
Pretty soon I'm going to have an air mask up here.
Let's do this. Let's do it. Here we go. All right, my friends, episode 6, play or go home. And that's what we're talking about tonight. Initial thoughts. David, why don't you do your initial thoughts first?
Okay, I have two. Just two. This season is like sitting down to watch a movie or TV show that you have not heard anything about, good or bad.
Uh-huh.
But it wasn't really pushed or anything. So you weren't expecting anything really good, but I can't stop watching and I can't wait for next week. There's good gameplay. There's really bad gameplay, but it's all over the place, but that's what Survivor's about. That's what makes it entertaining. You don't want everybody playing so hardcore that it throws everything off. You want to see good and bad mistakes and good moves. And if you don't like this season, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with you, but I think you've been spoiled by seasons like Cambodia or Fans versus Favorites. You know, as much as I love our friends, we've made a lot of friends in the Survivor community. As much as I love those people, that some of them are almost like family to us now because we're close to them. I love new player seasons, and I think this is just like I think I've said it before, and I know I talk about food too much, but this is like a dish that I've never heard of that I just tried on a whim, and it's one of the best dishes I've had. I'm not saying this is the best season ever. I'm just saying this is such a fun and entertaining and good season. Yeah. And just when I was expecting a slow episode, it ended so awesomely. It was just really, that was my first reaction that, gosh, this season is really good. It's really entertaining. My second thought is, Dwayne, I need to ask you a question, and I just want a yes or no answer. That's all I want to hear is a yes or no answer.
But David,
Dwayne, all I need, and I'll know when you answer, is do you still wish I was sick so Joe could be here again tonight? All I need is the yes or no answer. No, don't dance. Wait. Don't dance because I can tell. And
but who would you even have told you that?
If you lie to me, you're done.
Okay. Hold on. Well, what was the question again?
I forgot. But anyway, it was yes or no. Just give me a yes or no.
Why would I do that, David? Why would I do that?
Okay, like I said, good gameplay.
Who have you been talking to? Look, I just want us to all get along. Oh, are we done with the role playing?
Thank you for carrying your side of the
conversation. 4 more years. Go ahead.
My goodness. That was just wow. Joe, you're not at work, brother. you gotta go along with the flow.
I don't know. He was working it.
He was working it. That's it for me.
Oh man. Well, I have initial thoughts. Debbie is getting a very good edit.
Yep.
I'm not sure if she's getting a winner's edit because I think Aubrey is, but Debbie is definitely getting a very good edit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because they could have easily shown her as the goofy, nobody likes her or whatever, although I don't think that's the case, but the goofy, always getting on people's nerves, does crazy, weird things all the time. They're showing us a little bit of the crazy stuff, but they are showing her playing a really good game, which means a couple of things. One, she's playing a really good game. And two, she's not, the story they want to tell of her is not how she's the oddball.
Yeah.
Primarily. So Debbie's getting a great edit.
Not to interrupt your initial reaction, but you're right. She's getting the 3-point stance, which is one, they're showing a little goofy side of her, like you said, but two, they're showing people going to her, which is really good. And three, her confessionals are really good because she's talking game and she's talking strategy. You're right. She is really, really, really getting a good edit. I'm so glad she's on Thrice is Nice. And I'm so glad she's still in this season because she's the type of people I love watching play Survivor. So thank you. That's a great.
Nice.
She's on Thrice is Nice.
Oh, why couldn't I have gotten her on the Double D Brigade?
She is my confessional queen this season.
That's all right, man. I've got Nick. And I got Sydney who said, whoa, today or something.
Yeah, she said, whoa, Debbie.
But anyway. But Audrey may be our upcoming winner. I don't know if I'm calling her our winner, but I am liking her more and more. You know what? She's reminding me of Sophie.
Yeah.
You know? Sophie was quiet and she was like, when you first saw the opening of the season, she was like the person you did not expect to win. Mm-hmm. And then she hauled off and played a kick butt game. And Aubrey is playing well. Who's in charge of her and Joe? She's in charge of her and Joe, right? That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, we'll talk about it later.
All right, she's playing a great game. And last initial thought is things actually do change at Tribal Council.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll talk about that too.
V8 Energy Black Cherry.
Nice.
They are not a sponsor, but we would gladly let them be.
I would even try them again if they were, but I've never met a V8 that I like. So
you liked this. You tried it and you liked it.
I did.
Yes, you tried the pomegranate.
Okay.
And you loved it. You said you were so surprised. Wait a second. They're not paying us anything for this.
Yeah, stop talking. Let's talk about those buffs behind us. Don't they look great?
Yeah. Go to our website. Click that link. You'll get 10% off. All right. Anyway, if you use the code. Night 13, Gundall. Ty is, of course, thanking everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And coming up with something he can do to make sure he's safe again. But I do like one thing he said about the idol. The more people know, the less powerful it is.
Yep, absolutely.
Yay. Glad you realized that, Ty.
Yeah. So now one more person's gone that knows about it. The problem is Scott knows about it, and pretty soon Jason's going to know about it. So that's going to be 3 people. The question will be: will Scott tell Ty that he's told Jason? Which I don't think he will, because I think Scott's more tied to Jason than he is Ty.
I agree.
But I think this is now that spoiler alert, now that Pete is out of the game, hopefully he'll go back and watch this episode and say, wow, I should have done what Ty did when they kept me instead of Liz. I should have groveled and said, thank you guys so much for giving me a chance to continue playing.
Yeah.
But no, he didn't. What I think is funny was Peter thinks that now is the time to make a big move.
I know, exactly. What's up with that?
Peter, what was happening like 2 days ago? You had 2 beauties, a brawn, and 3 brains. Guess what? In a few days, you're going to have 2 beauties, a brawn, and 3 brains. Nothing has changed numerically.
Yeah.
And now, that just...
he said the old, now is the time to make a big move. But you know what? A student of the game or someone who watches this show knows that when you are in the numbers and there's that many people in the game still, and you're not even at merge, you're in the numbers. Why risk yourself like that for something that's not going to help you any?
Yeah.
All he did over these 3 days. And the crazy thing, David, like you said, he started too early. Even if it was a good time, you don't start 3 days before the next tribal council, do you? I mean, playing this hard, going to tie the night of.
That's the problem. He went to everybody. He really played hard. It appeared to, according to the edit, he went to everybody like all day long. It seemed like it could have been more obvious.
But he started that night with Ty. You know? So anyway.
I know.
Thursday morning quarterbacks.
There you go.
That's
Thursday night quarterbacks.
Thursday night quarterbacks. By the way, that is one weird looking Wookiee behind you.
Where's that? Yeah, right there.
That is a weird looking Wookiee. The Wookiee's mouth is 5 times larger than it normally would be. What is that?
It's that beanie cap sitting on top of a cup or something. It's just sitting there.
It is weird looking.
Oh.
All right, day 14, Chanlo. Anything else about the night at the camp?
No, I think that was all I had.
All right, so we go from Peter to Nick. So we have Peter playing poorly, and now we have Nick playing poorly.
This is where I messaged you because your picks yesterday early were, Nick and Peter. If I got to pick somebody from each tribe, you said Nick and Peter. I texted you. I said, doggone it. I'm 10 minutes in, and both of your picks are looking really good right now.
I know.
to be booted, yes.
Gosh, I need to be that, David.
Yes.
I need to be the person who you want me to be.
And I want you to be me. So you need to be me.
Okay. Well, actually, Nick's approach to Debbie, because I was thinking ahead a couple of days, but Nick's approach to Debbie is actually kind of right. I need to be the person that Debbie wants me to be. That's actually the right approach. Yeah. It's later on that anyway.
Well, I got to be careful what I ask for, because in my rankings this past week, I said, if CBS finds it in their heart to let Nick speak, maybe we'll find out what he's doing, because I don't see a path that he's playing. And sure enough, we got lots of Nick this week.
Yeah, we did.
So, but I like Debbie calls him, she says that, he's got a model contract waiting for him.
Yes.
And she would know because her latest job title was part-time model. Across her face.
Yes. And what's interesting is CBS has a whole section of their video processing devoted to her different titles. So they got to use title number 15 this week, part-time model.
I wonder if they're going for a different job title every episode.
You know what? That's funny. They probably are, and we should go back and catch that and check it. That's really good. So Tree Mail lets them know about the upcoming reward challenge so they can practice basketball, and Nick is their secret weapon, a.k.a. Adonis.
Yeah, she's titled him that. And I loved how she said in the confessional how good looking he is and chiseled, but I will not let that affect my game.
Right.
Well, that'll be interesting.
Yeah,
because she's played a good game so far. She did a lot better after the swap than I thought she would.
Yeah.
And everybody's going to her. So that's a really good sign.
Yeah. Did you decide to sit down this week?
I did, dude. I've been standing up for the last 3 hours, lining the field, and coach actually more like 5 hours. So I told Terry, I said, nah, I'm sitting down this week. I can't stand up for 2 hours.
I just realized I need to put my phone in my pocket so that all these times I go like this, it counts as steps. So I can get my, 5,000.
That's right.
Hey, I've lost 20 pounds. I'm very excited.
Congratulations.
On my way to, I think, 65 pounds is my goal. Dude, Weight Watchers. All right, reward challenge.
So why are we shooting baskets? Is there a reason behind this that we happen to have an NBA player in the game?
I don't know, David.
Is it ironic that we shot baskets when Cliff was in the game? You got to shoot. Are we going to start setting people out with bounties on them so Jason can have an advantage in the game? Are we going to start setting up tables with lobsters and serving them so Debbie has an advantage in the game? We're going to start bench pressing weights so Sydney has a, come on, guys.
Keep going, David.
We're going to start interrogating people on a daily basis so that Joe has a place in the game.
Come on, David.
Are we going to start setting up freezers and have ice cream served everywhere so Neil has a place in the game?
Yes, come on.
Come on, let's set up a bar. Let Michelle serve drinks. Let's give out exams and let Julia test and let everybody else fail. That's the challenge.
Let Julia host a party at her house or on the beach. Oh, way to go, David.
Sorry, I just got a little roll there. I'm not going to be able to speak.
Joe Reese.
You are not, by the way, going to like my recording because I can't mute my cough.
Oh, that's not good.
It's
We
not.
may be using the Google
I'm hiding
Hangout
it.
recording.
I'm trying to hide it.
Joe Reese wrote they gave her 3 different job titles in the premiere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was probably a chemist, and I bet one of them was a server, because she said the last thing she did was serve tables on the side at like Red Lobster or something, and I forget what the other one was. But
Well, she's a water examiner or something.
But I think that's part of being a chemist.
Yeah.
So I forget. But
Next thing you know, she's going to be like, we really should use this wood in the other direction because I was a forester at one time.
she was a ranger. That's right.
Yes,
She said she trained as a ranger.
Well, there you go.
but you
My
know what
joke
else?
is not even a joke.
But you know what else? She can start a fire with one match.
With one match. You know what, David? I've done that too.
I know somebody at the Durham Warrior Survival Challenge that did that too.
Oh, somebody snuck it in.
Yeah.
And I was there whenever he was examined and patted.
Yeah.
The only way we're going to catch, I don't get to do it this year. The only way y'all are going to catch anybody sneaking in matches is if you do cavity searches, because this guy had it hidden very well.
Yeah. And that didn't make the video, but it's.
You would have had to have gotten very personal to find it. It wasn't a cavity search, but if he had run too fast, he would have burned himself up.
Liar, pants on fire.
Absolutely. All right. Julia comes back and joins the Gondol tribe at the reward challenge. Okay, that's cool.
Mhm.
At the challenge. Okay, I like the reward. Breads, meats, cheeses, tuna salad, beverages. I like
so much better to play for than spices and coffee.
Yes.
Wow.
This one might actually be worth getting heat stroke over. Not the other one. I also like the way they're releasing the buoys in the water and the subsequent hurting of the buoys.
Yes.
That's a nice addition.
Mhm.
Because we've had the buoys before and stuff, but this was a really nice addition to it.
Yeah.
So, and while I'm still talking about it, I also noticed, especially in this challenge, that again, they're showing Aubrey playing very well.
Yes, she got
It's
the
like-
early advantage for her team, and she got the buoys up first and took off.
Yep. But you know what? Even with Michelle getting her buoys up late, by the way, I had a hard time remembering how to spell buoy. It's Buoys for those of you interested.
Yes.
They still weren't that far behind. I mean,
No, in fact, they were leading.
Yeah, Nick had, well, not when they started the basketball shooting,
Right.
but Nick was up by 7-5 at one point. It wasn't Michelle's fault. It was a combination of the entire team, and to try to place blame. Yeah.
When you're not playing Survivor, it's a team sport, because like I tell Gracie in goal, if she gives up a goal, 11 girls give up a goal. She didn't give it up by herself. But in Survivor, and you need someone to be a target, it's their fault.
That's true. That's true. Well, how did you feel well, no, y'all never lost a challenge. Stupid me. Forget
Yeah, we did. We lost one.
Oh,
The
yeah.
one
The one that you were doing the puzzle. Oh, okay. y'all. So the very
And I felt
first
cheated
challenge.
because at least it made such a great fire. It skipped the level of the challenge. But
So, y'all, David's first challenge at Durham Warrior Survival Challenge, he was the puzzle guy, right?
because nobody else wanted to be the puzzle guy.
Including David. But the other options were 50-yard sprints and other things that David
A
chose.
canoe that I was probably going to sink to the bottom of the pond. Listen, I'm going to be flat honest with you. If we had to make videos to get on last season, I might not have got on, because they would have looked at me and said, let alone this guy surviving the video, he probably won't survive a challenge.
Yeah.
I look like, when you watch the video, I look like somebody that ate another survivor out there. So
It's like, well, there goes the wall climbing challenge.
the wall's on the ground because David decided to run into it instead of run over it.
But anyway, David got beat on the puzzle by a former survivor.
After David had the lead, my tribe gave me the lead because Jamie decided to flip his canoe as soon as he took off.
Right.
So, but I had a lead. Brooke did the smart thing and looked at how I started, then blew past me, and then I finished mine, and I finished it wrong.
Yeah.
I did a Dan, and I flipped one side upside down, and then I was done walking back, and my tribe's like, you need to go fix it. And I barely finished in front of Jenny and Jessica.
So now the disadvantage is you didn't get to go back to a camp, but when y'all were all together, they were all doing the same thing they did to Nick, right? Oh, it's okay, David. Don't worry about it.
Actually, they weren't even talking about it. We were just glad to get a reward. We were trying to make fire and have rice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we weren't concerned about that because we had like 7 more to do in one day.
All right. Well, that is true. So,
but by the way, watching those videos is kind of painful. So I don't want to watch those videos.
I need to go back and watch. I haven't watched them yet. And I assume some of my videography is on there. I should go back and watch it.
Yeah.
Sydney yells, Scott, what you doing? And Scott yells,
winning.
Winning.
He should have said hashtag winning.
Yes, that is kind of the new thing. That's kind of the drop the mic thing.
So I paused the game at one point when it was 3-2 Scott, because, good old editing makes you feel like, oh, they threw 1 or 2 up there.
Right.
And, oh, now they're making them. No. At one point it was 3-2. Scott had 19 buoys spread about the sand that were not in the stack. And he only had 7 on the bowling ball rack where they stacked all the buoys.
Well, he was like in hockey, you have that guy you send out to go hit the other team's main player. That's kind of what he was in the NBA, wasn't he?
Right. If you're not in the penalty box in 5 minutes, Scott, then you're not doing your job.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other side, when Nick had 2 in the slot, he had 18 spread out, missed all over the place where he'd missed, and 9 in his bowling rack. Now, the funny thing was Scott missed a couple of them so bad that they were in the blue side of the challenge. There were yellow buoys on the blue side. I just thought that was funny because when it showed up, it backed up. It's almost like the director said, whoa, get rid of that shot. We're showing how many they missed. Get back. But they had buoys spread out everywhere, so it was funny.
I can imagine. Well, there's always going to be a learning curve because that's not a basketball, right?
No.
Who knows how much it weighs, and I mean, your first 5 or 10 shots are learning how it's going to react to your different styles of shooting it.
But once they started making them, they were hitting them.
Exactly.
I mean, that was impressive. That's a long, high shot.
Yeah, because once you learn it, then it's just an issue of honing it in.
There you go.
Honing it in. So Michelle, we end the challenge with Michelle saying she messed up the reward challenge for her team. And, Michelle, I know we're going to talk about this in a minute, but Michelle really took it really hard and probably shouldn't have taken it that hard, but I guess we'll talk about it.
Maybe he shouldn't have made it as obvious because by the time they got to the ball toss, they were, like you said, he was up by 2 at one point.
Yeah.
So,
at that point, you're yelling like, Nick, you're ahead by 2. Don't lose it. Awesome. Look, Nick's ahead by 2. We're going to win this because Nick's ahead by 2.
That's right.
Yeah, that's what I'd be doing.
If you can't make any more, then we're going to lose.
Like the Pharisees in the crowd. Barabbas. That's what I'd be doing. Nick's ahead by 2. Nick's ahead by 2. A little Easter weekend joke there. Gondol, day 14. Julia, this is a good way to come back to camp. Yeah, she's been by herself for 3 days with nothing, and now she gets to come back to this amazing spread.
Yeah, talk about bad luck. She gets that red buff, and now she's eating. And which is good for her because she needs to get back in this tribe and get back in the fold. And what better way to do it than in a good mood with food?
Yeah, exactly. Because
it changes the whole atmosphere.
Right. And she did a great thing. Let's get people talking.
Yep.
Right. Let's, what do y'all do? And we get to find out what everybody does.
Yeah. Well, I think we only hear from Peter, but I think it's because they're setting up the next conversation.
Yeah.
But I like what Julia says. She says that she's basically starting from scratch. She knows Anna's gone, obviously. She doesn't know where Ty may stand yet. She doesn't know these other people. So she flat out realizes I'm starting over. I'm going to have to start this game like it's my first day. Fortunately, I've got food. Everybody's going to be happy. And so what do you guys do? So she's actually treating it like hour 1 on beach on the first day, which I think is really smart. It lets everybody see who she is. And she comes in very friendly and very open, which I think right away, Peter underestimates her. He immediately thinks she's somebody that just doesn't get it or doesn't seem very savvy.
Right. Okay. What did Peter do on night 13? Who did he talk to privately alone?
Ty.
So it's day 14. They're back from reward challenge. Who does he go off and talk to alone?
Julia.
Am I just like totally wrong here? But if you, me, and Steve Helling, all right, are on a tribe together and we are in an alliance, or even if I'm the odd one out, let's say you and I are really close and Steve Helling's the odd one out. Now we'll find out if he really listens to us, Mr. People Magazine editor.
Mr. Naked and Afraid.
Yeah, Mr. Naked and Afraid. Mr. Name Dropper. Uh-oh. Anyway. my one access to Tim Tebow, if I ever get that access. So let's say Steve Helling is our kind of, we're keeping him around because we want the Braun tribe to go well, because that's what we'd be. So we want the Braun tribe to stay strong. If Steve's going off and talking to Andy, right?
Right.
Or Will Dennison, or let's get people in the chat room, or Connor, and they're not part of our group, I'm thinking, what's your problem? Unless we've already talked about it and we know what he's doing. So Peter needed to have gone, hey, I'm going to go talk to these guys, see if I can see where they're going. Then he's got a little cover story. No, he's just going off and talking to him.
Because even if Steve Helling was going to backstab us, he would come back and say, let me tell you what I got from Julia. Let me tell you what I got from Kathy or from Connor, like you said. You're right. But this is the part. This is what I forgot to mention on night 13. Peter is still motivated by revenge. He still brings up the fact that he's going to get these people out because they took out his Liz. They took out his alliance.
Right.
And he's still motivated by that revenge. And that's going to get him because of what you just pointed out. He spent all his time talking to everybody but Joe and Aubrey.
Yeah. And you know what this is? This is somebody in this day and age, or in this time of the Survivor show running, it's obvious to tell people who've not watched the show.
Yeah.
And this is an example of someone who's not a fan of the show, more than likely, or at least not a fan that like really pays attention.
Right.
Because this is obvious stuff. Obvious. He's playing with his emotions and he's not anyway. So he's out in the water talking to beautiful Julia,
who is to me much more savvy at this game.
Yeah.
Than Dr. Peter is. Because what does she say? I'm down with that. Whatever you just said. I don't know what you said, but whatever you said, I'm down with it as long as it's not my name.
That's right. Which is the right thing to do.
Yep.
And of course, Aubrey and Joe are noticing this. Anyway.
Well, yeah, they call him rogue and desperate. And
he should have just played it safe. But he wasn't going to play it safe.
Well, he said this is the time to make a move, but it's not. Obviously,
no. It wasn't the time to make a move. Not in our Thursday night quarterback position.
No, exactly. We see everything from here.
Because if Joe had gotten voted off or Aubrey, then way to go, Peter. Way to play the game. All right. Anything else with Gondol, or you want to go to Chandlo?
Let's go to Chandlo.
Chandlo, day 14. So Michelle obviously showing her sadness to the tribe. Mm-hmm. Okay. This may have been where Michelle needed to go off on her own and have a confessional during which she shares all this stuff and then put on a happy face with the tribe. But whenever you go out into the water and someone jokes about, we better watch her, suicide watch time or something like that.
Yeah.
Then obviously you have made it very obvious that you are really down, which does what? Draw attention to yourself.
Right. Yeah. Neil didn't help because even Nick, like you said, tries to take some of the blame. He says, I should have closed the deal. I should have finished the challenge. But Neil brings up that, it was a tough challenge. We got ahead of him, but since we fell behind early getting the buoys, we were kind of starting from behind, which is to say, Nick, it's not your fault. It was Michelle's fault. So don't he didn't name her, but yeah, he pretty much called out that we got behind to begin with.
Right. Which is very interesting. Because if Neil and Michelle were in any kind of alliance or any kind of talking, he would not have thrown her under the bus like that.
Exactly. There's a lot of stuff gets pointed out in the next few scenes. And even Nick says, when he says, I should have closed the deal, his next comment is, oh, well, Anna's gone. And it's almost like twisting the knife in Michelle. Because he knows it's obvious that I think to Nick that Anna and Michelle and even Julia were tight. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like now you're really messed up, Michelle.
Yeah.
Now what else can you do? You lost the
Yeah.
challenge for us, and now your buddy's gone.
Yeah.
And she even says later, that was my 1 and 2. We were 1 and 2. That was my closest alliance. But to me, this is why I think a woman's going to win, because when Michelle goes out there, and this is where Sydney gets her, oh man, dang, Deb, when Deb talks about watch her, she might drown herself.
I know.
She says, Deb's like, oh, because I'm not going out there. So you all need to watch her. If she does something, I'm staying right here.
Yeah.
But Michelle says everything to this point is teetering. This is what's so great about this season. Everything is teetering because we got the beauties that never lost, and now they're in trouble because they're all split. They got split into 3 tribes when there's really only 2 new tribes. But everything is teetering. Looks like I have to start over. Same thing Julia said, starting from scratch. I love that they both got those lines out because it tells me these girls are erasing the board and starting a new plan. And I love that. I think that's really smart. I think it's savvy, and I think it's very open-minded that they can see that they have to start over. I'm going to have to use my social skills to get back in graces. And I think that's really smart.
Yeah.
I think Julia and Michelle are going to be high on my rankings this week.
Well, that'll be good. I don't know, but you got to think about this though, because whenever she said, let's see, what did she say? This may have been later. I'm not sure. Oh, no. Here it is. She says she's going to use her social skills to step back up and to step it back up. Right? Right? Are you frozen? He's frozen. But then the very next thing CBS shows is a very slowly walking caterpillar going down a tree as she goes to talk to Ty or to a Debbie. So it's almost like they're trying to say it may not get you back in the game, but we'll see. So David's frozen. So I'm going to continue on. She's talking to Debbie, and Debbie again stated, this is very interesting, y'all. Debbie again states that she wants a woman to win. She's making no bones about this with all the women. So if David were here, I would ask him, so do you really think that any alliance that Debbie makes with a man is secondary to any alliances that she makes with a woman? Right now, David would be answering me, but he's not. So anybody in the chat room want to say anything about that? Okay. We'll see if you say anything in a minute. So anyway, so there you go. And she mentions also, Debbie also mentions that Jason's not doing anything around camp, which probably means he's not doing anything around camp. Is that good for Jason? Probably not. But we're going into a merge anyway. So something that I think we all knew was coming. So then we have the Michelle and Nick talk. Now this is crazy, y'all. On one hand, Michelle's doing a great job of not biting at him or, really going after him for the way he's talking to her. But I can imagine that Nick is, I mean, if Nick's whole attitude is that of, I have to coach her, then I remember seeing an episode of this like reality show about these contestants had to go and help these big name companies. I think it was You're Fired show, whichever one that was, The Apprentice. And they went into this place, and the lady and the contestant was talking to the owner of this business. Like, now then we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this. Now, I just want you to trust me because I know what I'm doing. And the guy was like, who do you think you're talking to? You're talking down to me. And I think that's what Nick was probably doing to Michelle, talking down to her like, I'm going to have to coach you. You can't do this on your own. In fact, she said, I need to do this. And he was like, no, that's not what's going to happen. So anyway, can you imagine how patronizing he must have been when talking to her? And I think she even said he was babying me. I don't need someone to baby me. So there you go. Let me send David. Let me invite David again to the show because he got kicked off. Not by me, I promise. All right. Apparently, day 15 was a vacation day. Everybody on the CBS crew did nothing. All the contestants got to go, lay on the beach and do nothing. No cameras, whatever, because they didn't show us a thing from day 15. So, Gondol, day 16. Peter is now talking to Scott. All right. Joe notices this and decides to go all FBI all over Peter's rear end. All right. So, are you telling people to take me out? And I like Peter's, unfortunately for Peter, his immediate no or immediate yes was his downfall, because what he should have said was, no, I'm not. But because his mind, well, first of all, he was caught off guard. And so because he was guilty, he couldn't just say no. So he had to think, how am I going to respond to this? Even to the point of asking, what was the question? Which is a classic stalling method, right? I mean, how many of y'all have been in a situation where you ask someone something or you ask them for their opinion and they go, now, what? Can you tell me that again? It's a stalling method usually. So obviously, Joe notices this. He is an FBI agent. I'm sure he's seen lots of people's reactions to how you talk to them, which is very classic in like interrogations and stuff. So Joe knows how to read people, and he was obviously reading a guilty guy because he had said that. So there you go. And so, like I said, just say no. Just say no. Otherwise, it looks like you were trying to come up with an answer, which is exactly what he was doing. Hey, David.
Hello there.
Yeah, you owe me big time. And all the people in the chat room said, "Yay, David's back."
No, they said, "Yay, David's gone."
No, they did not, because I just had to do it on my own for a while. So
she said, "Is where I lost you."
No, we're way past that. I was just talking about how Joe is an FBI agent, does interrogations, and knows that Peter is lying.
You're already to that point?
Yeah. Well,
we don't get to talk about Nick and Michelle?
Well, I talked about them. All right, let's go back. Tell us what you want to say about Nick and Michelle. David has left the building. Ladies and gentlemen, David has left the building. Rogeezy, you don't owe us any explanation. This is the beauty of live podcasting. That's right. I'm glad you feel that way.
Still bad?
No, praise the Lord, you're back.
Yeah, but what about my voice?
No, it sounds great. Rion wrote, yeah, we signed up for this, LOL. Oh, David, you sound wonderful. It's like
whatever.
No, it's like
so anyway.
Oh, nice. All right, hold on. So we are back and now. All right, go ahead.
I think Michelle did a great thing here, so people should take note that she did not offer up any names. She kind of knelt before Debbie, the queen, and said, "Who do you want to vote out?" Just to put another name out there, so it wasn't Michelle's. I thought that was really smart. She just needs to fit in. Instead of throwing someone under the bus, she asked Debbie for her recommendation of what she wants to do.
And did you notice the two things that Debbie said that were of note? Two things I thought of that were note.
That he doesn't do anything, that he's lazy, or
Jason doesn't do anything and he's lazy. That's one thing. The other thing that she's reconfirmed.
Wants a woman to win.
Wants a woman to win. That's right. We're on the same page, dude.
Yep. So Michelle goes to Nick, who is not on Michelle's page. And I love it. And, she's keeping the beauty link alive. She's giving Nick a chance. She's talking to him. She's not throwing him under the bus. And she basically reports what Deb says. Yeah. And Nick basically says no. And I know you've already covered this. This was painful.
Okay.
This was painful for somebody that supposedly knows the game. He shut her down.
Yeah, I mean, isn't he like a blogger on Rob's website?
I thought he was. That's what we were told, that he used to blog for Rob about Survivor, or maybe it was about something else. But
you know what this means, though? You know what this means? Two things.
Tell me.
One thing, just because you're a good blogger doesn't mean you're good at Survivor.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, just because you're on Rob's site doesn't mean you're as good as Rob.
Yeah.
In other words,
definitely.
Rob's not responsible for everything that everybody says on his site, especially for how they play. It's not Rob's fault.
Well, yeah, but it's also a high standard, because that's why Rob is called the smartest player never to win. So that's true. Yeah. But
gosh, I'm sorry, a little sidetrack.
No, go ahead.
But I want to see Rob play again. I don't know if he'll be able to, because now podcasting is his full-time job.
I don't think he would. I don't think he'd want to break his string. He's got too much going on right now.
I know, but I so want to watch him play again.
You got to go back to watch Amazon. Go back to Amazon and watch that.
How do you pass that up though if you're Rob? Except, okay, the only thing he could do is say, "Look, patrons," because he's got a lot of patrons, and that's how he makes that in his deals with like advertisers and stuff, right? Yeah. So he would lose that because he wouldn't be doing any shows, so he wouldn't be getting any money from that. But he'd still have his Amazon affiliation, but use ours because please. And he still has his Patreon. Right, so he could still play if he played his cards right.
You think he'd lose sponsors? Because you know that Wiggler and Fishback could do the podcasting for the whole season.
There you go. He doesn't even lose sponsors.
Yeah, he wouldn't lose any sponsors. He would just be taking a hiatus for 39 days plus.
All right.
I don't know. That'd be interesting.
I know you don't listen to our show. That's okay. But may all of your listeners who listen to us too tell you that we want you to play again, and we still want your podcast to keep going while you're playing,
because we know there's going to be more returning player seasons. But anyway, so I wrote down that Nick explains to Michelle out of the goodness of his heart how to play Survivor, and what's happening. He explains to her, and he ends by saying that no matter what, she's definitely a target. And I could see Michelle's look like, that's not what I'm even talking about. Where does that come from that I guess he's trying to keep her down, let her know that she's relying on him. Yeah, she's at his mercy.
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I just want to finish my line. He admits he's going to have to coach Michelle. He's going to have to, tell her how to say things, because she obviously cannot manipulate people, and he does, and he's going to help her say the right things and come across the right way. And I wrote that this conversation tells me that Nick never spoke to Michelle while they were on the beauty tribe. Right. Because you can't not speak to Michelle for an hour and not know that she's smart, she has social charm skills, and she's more savvy than people give her credit for. And I think this is why Michelle and Julia will go far. People are going to underestimate them. They're not going to vote them out for challenges, because they're going to start voting out the strong players.
That's right.
They're going to the merge. So Julia and Michelle are going to make a run, and those two girls are going to get you, the Double D Brigade, back near the top.
I absolutely agree with you, David. I couldn't disagree with you.
You cannot disagree with me.
I cannot disagree with you. You are 100% correct.
Is that C-3PO telling you to say that, or Boba Fett, who's already thrown down?
Me and C-3PO both want to say something, but we forgot what it was because you kept talking, which is great.
That is my social skill, that I can shut you up by talking and talking.
I can't believe I forgot it, dadgummit. What was I going to say? We were talking about Michelle.
I'm so glad.
No, I remember.
Go ahead. Well, let me finish my. No. Go ahead.
Nick can't help it, because Nick thinks he's smarter and better than everybody else, and he can't help but treat people that way. He can't help it.
He also feels he's too beautiful, because Deb has to have a crush on him.
Yeah.
He said that like 30 minutes ago.
Gosh. Look, listen, of all the women on the island, I mean, she's not even his age. She's his mom.
She's only in her late 40s.
He's 20 something.
Oh, he is.
So what I'm saying is, Rion says, Michelle reminds me of Amanda Kimmel. Huh.
I think wasn't Amanda's problem the social game? I mean, that she didn't have people that respected her game or something. Whereas I think people are going to respect Michelle.
Amanda's problem is she doesn't know how to handle a jury at all.
Oh, that too. Her other problem is she's. No, I'm not going to go there. But anyway.
Rojizi wrote that Rob has spoken about this on his podcast. Unless the money is huge, he has too good of a thing going right now.
Yeah,
probably right. So, all right. Day 15 was a vacation day. Did you come up with a name for those days when it's just like nothing?
Yeah, I was going to call it vacation day.
All right, vacation day.
I like that. Good call.
All right. Let's move on to the immunity challenge.
Well, hang on. We're not there.
Well, yeah, we are.
But we got day 16 Gondol. I just want to point out, when did these people have been together for a while. And on day 16, they've been together, 3 or 4 days now. Scott goes to Peter and says, we haven't talked much. As in, you're talking to everybody but me. Why aren't you talking to me? Yeah. And then Peter spills the beans that he's been talking to Julia about blindsiding Aubrey.
Well, now, wait. Yeah. He had been talking to Scott.
Well, yeah, but not much.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
We haven't talked much.
I'm sorry.
It might be since the last challenge.
No, I was thinking of later in the show because I've already gone over
Okay.
this part. So I was thinking of later in the show. My bad.
Sorry. And then they reaffirmed that Joe and Aubrey see that he's talking to everybody.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and that's when he confronts him, like you were probably talking about when I got back on.
Yeah.
He confronts him, and that's just ugly. Ooh, not good.
Well, I thought it was pretty smooth.
Well, it was, but Joe already knows the answer. So he's only going to alert Peter to the fact that he knows.
Okay. Well, and
because Pete's not reporting back.
Right. Okay. Immunity challenge. Sydney gives the immunity idol back to Jeff, just in case you were wondering. So they go over a rolling giant log, which was easier for some than others.
Yep.
Teamwork to get over the tall obstacle, which I'm thinking, I bet you're glad this wasn't at the Durham Warrior Survival Challenge.
Oh my goodness, that was so high.
So were all your teammates.
Unless I got Scott and Scott and about every man to lift me to try to get over that thing.
I remember at the Durham Warrior Survival Challenge, and they came out with the barrel thing, right? And you had the whole team had. I was like, how in the world are they going to get around David on those barrels?
I was absolutely a challenge disadvantage to some degree. So once again, John, thank you for letting me play this game when I would not get on Survivor in the shape I am right now. But you know what? When I was watching the video, since we're talking about this and joking on me, when we got on the barges, I was watching the first video that got put out, and it's on the website, DurhamWarriorsChallenge.com. I saw myself get on the barge, and I remember exactly what I was thinking when I got on the barge. My first thought was, I am so wearing the wrong clothes. These clothes that are made to keep me warm at night are going to be soaking wet by the time we get to the end of this challenge. I hate this already. What am I doing?
Mr. I'm never taking my shirt off at Durham Warrior Survival Challenge. Had your shirt off several times. I have proof.
Let's pray those never make the public out.
I have video proof
that you'll never put out, or else
I will never put out. In fact,
you don't know enough survivors to replace me every week.
In fact, my favorite picture of you and Dan and me, you won't let me post.
Oh yeah.
But Sierra, who I told about it last week, have you listened to last week's show?
No.
Yeah, you jerk. Anyway, I listened to yours and Cass's show.
That's because it was good. I'm just kidding.
Anyway, Sierra wants a copy of the picture, and she wants to Photoshop her in it.
She can put her where the old lady was who was watching this.
Yes, the old lady going, why are these three guys with their shirts off posing like a woman? This is weird. All right, so teamwork to get over the obstacle. Knock the blocks off the net. The problem is they keep falling back to the middle.
Yes.
So you got to start at the edge and pop them off the edge instead of starting in the middle, and they just come all off in the middle.
I was looking for that strategy too the second time I watched, and Peter and Scott were smartly getting them off as they separated from the group. Whereas if you try to move them as a group, they were falling back into the middle, like you just said.
Yeah.
But they were picking them off one at a time, and they were just killing it.
Yeah. Hey, what's the Durham Warriors Survival Challenge link?
I want to say it's DurhamWarriorsChallenge.com.
DurhamWarriorsChallenge.com. Okay. All right. So Gondol starts first. Now, I'm going back and forth on this because if they hadn't tried Peter's idea and Scott hadn't messed it up, then they would have won with the other idea, with the, just standing on top of each other.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if Scott had held the blocks up better, then Peter's plan would have worked and they would have won. So I'm going back and forth. Was Peter's idea a good idea that was just messed up by application, or was it really a bad idea and that's why they lost?
Peter's idea was to not stack the big blocks on the bottom?
No, his idea was to stack all the little blocks, to stack your top part first, and then to lift it and stack in the middle like that.
I thought Peter's idea was the small blocks on the bottom. Whose idea was that? Because that was really bad.
I don't think anybody made that idea.
Well, that's how they started. They didn't put the big ones on the bottom.
Well, but then Peter said, no, let's try this. And
I thought he said, let's try Scott's idea of what Scott said about
Well, I
stacking.
know it wasn't Scott's idea because Aubrey and Joe talk about how Peter's idea didn't work.
Which I thought was the small blocks on the bottom, but I might be wrong then. I may have to listen to it again.
All right,
I thought,
people in the
yeah,
sorry, the video is out of sync with on YouTube. Anybody watching and in our chat room, what do you think was Peter's idea? David and I have opposing views. Did you get to watch it a second time?
yeah, today.
Okay, well then.
That's why I thought I heard
All
Peter
right.
say, let's do what Scott said.
Rogeezy says it was Peter's idea for small blocks as the base. So you're saying it was Scott's idea to do the whole middle thing?
I could have sworn I heard Peter say, let's do what Scott said. And
Well,
that's
there you
what
go. That's why there's two of us. That's why there's two of us. One to look good, one to have all the right ideas.
Because it's almost like Peter started building it without realizing. Yeah, because he said, I didn't realize how tall it was going to be. So
Yeah.
I didn't know it was going to be that tall. And
Yeah. Okay, well then Peter couldn't have lost them that much time then. They spent a whole lot more time showing us the
but according to Probst, they lost by seconds, mere seconds.
well, according to Ty, they lost by seconds.
Yeah.
So
Well, Probst, yeah.
all right, so stack the blocks about what do you think, 15 feet or so? 15 feet?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked about right.
Yeah.
So Gondol Star already said that. In the end, though, stacking would have worked better, of course. And Chandlo wins again. And we get a little confessional of Joe saying Peter is too risky before he gets out of control. You've got to take him out. But then he votes for Julia.
We also got another little side note as they were leaving.
What
After
was
they
it?
gave somebody the idol. Who did they give the idol to?
I don't know. Tell me, though, please.
Sydney pushed Debbie up to go get the idol, I think, because Debbie was on
There you
top.
go.
So that was kind of
There
cool.
you go. There you
But
go.
as the losing tribe, Gondol was leaving, which I've now started to learn the names since they're not Brains, Brawn, and Beauty anymore, but which is mute now. Anyway,
It's moot.
Ty and Julia left arm in arm with their arms around each other's shoulders.
Aw.
Almost, I don't know if it was consoling or if it was, hey, we're still Beauty.
Yeah.
You know, so that was a little interesting because we got back to camp. We see that she is right back in with Ty and now in with Scott. So I said, oh, so they're still kind of close. Maybe they're catching up finally. So
I know what it was. It
What?
was, we're not allowed to talk anymore, but I'm going to whisper in your ear.
There you go.
Because, there's a point where they say, stop talking.
Oh, yeah.
Walk to the medical tent. We're going to do a quick evaluation. Then we're going to put you on the boat. And then you go back to camp. Then you can talk again.
Right.
So,
And like you said, Joe says he can't trust Peter, so Peter's got to go.
right. All right. Gondol, day 16. Aubrey, she wants Peter gone, but realizes that if they do that, then Ty, Scott, and Julia have the numbers. So this is very interesting. Aubrey really Aubrey controlled this. Okay.
Mhm.
Aubrey ultimately made the decision. So, anyway, so it was ultimately Aubrey's decision. So she's going back and forth. Do I go with the numbers of Peter and then later on she realizes, wait, forget it. This happens. I got distracted by something.
Well,
I'm sorry.
This was probably the best part of the episode for me because I loved that Aubrey talked this out. Like you
Yes.
said, she
Yes.
spoke it through. She told us what she was thinking. I love that.
Right.
At the same time, Scott, who I'm sorry, Uncle Cliffy, but Scott is playing circles around Uncle Cliffy right now. As
Right.
far as so, I think he said on Twitter or somebody said he just wanted to last further than Cliff.
Yeah.
Scott's talking to Julie and Ty, and Scott says she can't vote out Peter because she doesn't want to give us control.
Right.
I love this. They know what's going on. They
Right.
see what's happening, and they call it a stalemate. That is so cool that we're at a
Yeah.
stalemate with 6 people, and it's sorry to say it's Peter's fault because Peter was
Yeah.
ready to make a move before he should have made a move.
Well, but they're not at a stalemate because of anything Peter's done. Peter loses this because of what Peter did, but they're at a stalemate not because of what Peter did.
Well, Scott said that since Peter's back to Julia, everything he told Scott is baloney. He called him out on it because he basically said, I've talked to Julia. We want to blindside Aubrey or Joe and get rid of them.
Well,
Now he's gone back to no, it's back to Julia.
Okay,
So-
you're jumping. Okay, I'm sorry. You're
Yeah, I'm
jumping
sorry.
further
Yeah.
ahead in the day, and so I wasn't thinking that far ahead yet. I apologize.
Yeah.
So
Sorry,
I like
I'll
that.
stop.
No, we'll just make sure that we bring that up because you're right. Scott notices it later and calls it correctly later because of what Peter did. Yes, he flopped on Scott. Right. So I like the way Aubrey handles Joe. Look, we've got to have Peter. I know we don't like him, but we've got to have him for the numbers. You need to go make things right.
Yes.
Talk it out man to man. Right? Way to go, Aubrey. And what does Joe do? He does it. And I was very impressed with how Joe kept his cool because every ounce of him, I guarantee you, just wanted to go up and go, hey, I just wanted to let you know we're cool. Talk to you later. Because he didn't want to hear Peter start to talk about it again because that would just bring it all up in Joe's because he's already irritated by it, you know? So way to go, Joe, keeping your cool.
It was like a federal agent making a deal with a known criminal to get a bigger criminal.
There you go.
And that's got to be eating at Joe. You know, this is a guy that broke the law. I can't believe I'm having to make a deal with him, but he did. He broke the survivor law. He went against his own people when he should have kept the numbers.
Yeah.
And I love that. Actually, I'm moving. Can I move ahead? You ready to move a little bit more? I love that Julia called out that they can't go to Joe. You know, those three. This is when they're in the stalemate conversation.
Yeah, you're really jumping ahead.
Do you mind where we
talk about that yet?
Go ahead.
Just real quick. Well, we're kind of there, but I want to talk about the Scott and Peter on the hammock before we get to that. Because Peter's on the hammock. Scott goes up to Peter. This is right after Joe confronts Peter. And Peter's just totally blind, just totally doesn't know what to do anymore. Right? Scott goes up to him, do you not want to talk about this anymore? And Peter's like, all that's off the table. It's all been shot. We're just going to vote Julia off. It's like, Peter, come on, man. Where's your game? If earlier you were saying you have to make a big move, and now where are the kahunas to make a big move? They're not there.
Yep.
Right? He just folded over and died. And now
just because somebody called him out. Yeah.
Right. Just because someone called him out. Now we're at the point that you can't wait to talk about. Scott and Julia and Ty are talking.
Yeah. And even right before that, Pete says he's going to stick with the old brain tribe and not stir things up. And I wrote, too late. You stirred that stick about 3 days ago.
Right.
So, Aubrey, is, Julia, and Ty and Scott are talking. They get everything out in the open. They talk about the stalemate, what they got to do. And they start talking about people. And Julie says, I'm surprised they want to keep him because he flat out, and she's telling the truth. He wants to get rid of Aubrey and Joe.
Yeah.
So he's smart. And then Ty throws in that he's also arrogant. Yes. This is somebody they could probably control a little bit. And she agrees. Mm-hmm. And I love, she says, well, we can't go to Joe because Joe is loyal. If Joe's locked in on voting Julia, he's not going to change his vote.
Right.
So she accurately calls it, way to go, Julia. We have to go to Aubrey.
Right.
Probably the smartest, savviest player over there. She's the one we got to go to and make our case to her that she is a target of Peter.
Yeah.
And if she doesn't get rid of him now, she's going to be his target shortly thereafter.
Yeah. And this is also where Scott says very smartly, we're at a stalemate.
Yes.
So we get to that point. And so Ty and Julia go talk to Aubrey.
Love it. Because I wonder if Scott went and talked to Pete to distract Pete or went and talked to Joe.
Maybe.
To get Aubrey to herself.
But you know what? I like how both sides played this. I like how Julia and Ty played it, and they didn't demand an answer. And I like how Aubrey played it, and she didn't particularly give them an answer.
Yeah, because I didn't think that Aubrey was buying it at first. She was just listening, just listening.
Well, and she's playing from a position of power here. So she didn't need to agree. You know how we always say, always agree with people? This was one of those situations where she didn't have to agree with them. Because ultimately, if she decides to go with Julia, she knows the other two guys are going to go ahead and switch and go to Julia, which we found out later. Yeah, that is what was going to happen. So because she didn't give them any concrete answer, Ty goes to Scott and it's like, okay, I guess we got to vote off Julia.
Yep.
So that's my thought on how Julia and Ty handled Aubrey. Did you have any thoughts on that?
No, I just this is where the episode got really good.
Yeah,
I love it because it was a stalemate and somebody was going to have to make a move.
Right. Aubrey's like, okay, do I want to keep someone who I know is going after me? Here's where the battle starts because here is where she figures out. Okay, she wants to play numbers, But do you also keep, like she said, better the devil you know than the devil you don't know? That's the way she's been playing. But does she really want to keep him knowing that he's been going after her and Aubrey, her and Joe for a long time since Liz was voted off?
Yeah.
So really keeping him around may not be helpful.
It's really a tough decision, and I know
I know
the episode. It's got to be the hardest decision, but it could be a game-winning decision.
I know, because
I think the tipping point is we don't want to draw rocks. We don't want to go to a tie, and that's going to be her line. It's got to be her line to Joe. Joe, I know you weren't changing, so I wasn't going to ask you to change. And I know I'm skipping ahead, but she's got to talk to Joe, and she's got to talk to Julia and explain why she put her name on the ballot. I think that conversation has to happen too. And if Julia treats it right, it's going to quiet down until they have to go at each other later.
Yeah.
But I put a lot of credit on Aubrey. That was a tough decision to make.
Yeah.
And Joe made it clear, I'm not changing. And that's bad on Joe. He really lit into her like, you can't make changes this late in the game. You can't do this. Your neurosis kicking in or something. Like, don't be so insulting, man. She's making a play to stay in the game longer, and it's for you to help you as well, because you're going to be drawing rocks if she doesn't change her vote.
Right.
So, but yes, you can change your vote right before you get the trouble. Just saying, Joe. Just saying.
Right. So then you got Scott and Ty deciding. What? Hold on, David. Take over the show for a minute.
Well, I didn't have much else going in the tribal council, but so Scott and Ty talking about having to go after Julia then because they're not going to change their votes, and this is great editing to leave it up in the air. So then they head over to tribal council, and I don't have any notes on tribal council, but it was really good. It was
Nothing I can do about it. I'm sorry.
So Julia finally grabs a torch, and I think there's still torches there for, I guess, Nikki Michelle, but
yeah, this is her first tribal council.
Correct. Right. And she has no idea what's going to happen. She's hoping, but she has no idea. And once again, I love the talking at tribal council.
Yeah.
I love the words and stuff. And Aubrey makes it kind of interesting. I think she says something to the effect of people are changing their mind. They're making plans and then changing them, and I think calling out Peter at that point, but I know it's editing, but Peter has this lost look on his face.
Oh, I know.
Poor guy. I kind of know how he feels. When all of a sudden you realize that they're coming after you.
Yeah, I saw you sitting on that corner log going, oh, no.
Then I thought there better be a cheeseburger over there when I get voted out.
So to be clear, going into tribal council, Julia was going home. Everybody was voting Julia, including Scott and Ty.
I would tend to believe that because that's what they led us to believe. Even, Scott called original plan. Yeah.
Absolutely believe that that's what was going to happen. That Scott and Ty were like, Aubrey's not changing. We're not going to go to rocks. So as much as it pains us, we're going to have to vote Julia off. That's where they were. Yeah.
The tipping point was when Aubrey turned around to Scott.
Yes.
And it's like the two factions joined for a moment. And Scott's just got, must be his height or something. He's just got a very persuasive.
Yeah. Well, very persuasive.
That he gets to call these shots. Right. Yeah. Very persuasive situation that he's calling these shots and it's working out in his favor. Good on him.
I think Julia helped herself by talking about how Peter immediately came and talked to her. I think a lot of stuff. In fact, Joe even says it. You got a lot of interesting answers out of these people tonight, Jeff. And I think what happened was all the stuff that Peter had been doing that Joe and Aubrey suspected, they found out even more.
Yeah.
And that's why Aubrey's like, Aubrey turns to Scott. Yeah. And so then it's discussed and Scott just out loud, Julia, original plan. And Probst is like, wait a second. Y'all playing the game without me here? I'm up here, right? So.
I love how, go ahead. What's your next point?
No, I'm done.
I'm just about at the end.
Yeah, I'm done.
It's kind of interesting in that Beauty did so well in challenges that their numbers are so big that people were going to start picking them off when they got split.
Yeah.
And then Brains would have had 5, right? They would have had still all 5 members going to the merge, which would have made them targets. So Aubrey may have saved herself in that regard by not making Brains the dominating group as far as number, because Beauty and Braun would easily come together and start picking off the
Absolutely.
brains.
Who's the weak link in the brains? Peter. She made the right choice.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to get rid of him because he's the weak link and you're no longer the strong tribe anymore.
So if Peter had gone back and watched Kagayan, he would have seen that Cass didn't flip before the merge. She flipped after the merge.
Right.
And that's why she made it as far as she did. But he made a move way too early. And I think in the end, I think it's going to help Aubrey, the move she made. But gosh, she's got some work to do. She's got to go to Joe and let him know, Joe, I did it for you. I didn't want us drawing rocks. Right. And she's got to keep that. And I think Joe's going to understand. I think Joe just did not want to change his vote. That's too stubborn. But at the same time, I think she needs to go to Julia. If she can get back with Deb, if Aubrey can get back with Deb, and Deb's a woman needs to win. And if Deb has Michelle, then they can bring in Julia, and Aubrey and Julia can be fine. And there's the women ganging up and start taking out the rest of the men.
Yeah.
But I think if Julia is smart, and I really think she is, I think she's going to say, I understand. Don't worry about it. Thank you for voting out Peter.
Yeah.
And Julia's going to leave it at that because that's how you play the game.
Yeah. I completely agree with you, buddy. All right. So Peter goes home and we get next time on, and everybody knows this is coming, right? The merge is coming. And one thing I want us to do on our D&D extra video this week is talk about more detail about the makeup of the new merged tribe. So on our D&D extra this week, we'll talk about that. All right, y'all. That, my friends, is a great, wonderful episode of Survivor. Although when I went down to watch it again tonight, my wife said, oh, I know it wasn't the next episode, but I was at the same time disappointed because she really can't wait to watch the merge episode.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's get to our listener feedback.
Oh man.
I don't have my Amazon commercial up, so just remember we are Amazon affiliates, or I am. And when you help us when you shop using Amazon, using our links. So go to our website, do that. All right, David, I've got the first one. It's Martin Leeds from Germany. It's, hey, D&D, let's do some feedback. I just love this season. This is one of the best pre-merge seasons in a long time. Nearly every episode is great and very entertaining, even though it was so underhyped. Brown trout, that's the Darnell thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
We all can't wait for next week's episode. Yes. The brown trout, the Titanic move, Debbie's takeover at the brains, Caleb's medevac, the bullying, the traditional tribe swap that 100% screwed a person, and now this. I would like to jump right in and analyze the vote a little bit more. So we got 3 people gambling on their own lives and possibly forcing a draw against an alliance of brains that has fallen apart and got repaired poorly. Why would you ever go into a tribal council where you know that it will be a 3-3 split? That is just stupid. Scott and Ty gambled, and I would guess that they may have switched their votes at a potential revote. But if they would have not, then we would have gone to rocks instead. So either Joe, Aubrey, Scott, or Ty would have gone home. There was no mentioning of a possible rock draw threat from either side. Well, not that they showed us. That's me saying that, not that they showed us.
Right.
That just blew my mind. In this stage, it is so powerful to force somebody into a vote so he doesn't gamble with his own life, just as Sierra showed us in Blood versus Water. Aubrey crossing her vote and changing it was a good move for now. I have a feeling that we already saw somebody cross out his vote at Tribal, but I am not sure. They make such a big deal out of it, so I may be wrong. Martin, I think David and I are in agreement that Scott and Ty were not going to go and force a tie, that they were going to vote Julia out.
That was my thought too.
And it got changed at Tribal Council.
Yep.
Possible spoiler warning if you haven't seen Next Time On. Here he goes. Jason, the first episode without any confessionals from America's Sweetheart. He is still in a great position, and with the coming merge, he is still golden. Scott, same story. He developed a good bond with Ty and even Julia. He could bring some people over to the bronze side, and they may dominate the merge. He has knowledge of 2 of the 3 idols, and this can be beneficial for his gameplay. I am curious if he tells Jason that Ty has an idol. I would not do it. David and I think he will.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I just have to mention that Scott was awesome, has awesome tribal performances. He is so good at this. Sydney, she had a nice moment at the reward challenge trying to distract Scott. Does that make her a part of the bully clan? due to the public witch hunt Scott and Jason are in it. I would assume that Neil has to join them since he said bye-bye Blondie last week. And this week they may get joined by Sydney and even Debbie, who said Michelle might drown herself. You should look after her, which implies that she won't save her from drowning, right? I don't know. Well, that's what David said. Let's stop beating that drum. Can you read, David?
I'm trying to actually find the feedback right now. I apologize.
All right, Michelle, I got awesome vibes this week from her. She was on the bottom of the barrel, seeing her closest ally get voted out, and even having a huge part of losing the reward challenge. But she had so many good quotes, and luckily she has the buffoon Nick at her side. I'm looking forward to see her role in the merge. Julia, she will go far from now on. Nobody will ever target her, and she is, in my opinion, a definite candidate for the top 5. She got a little bit lucky in the vote, but her trust in Scott and Ty paid off. I don't see her winning the game at all, but she will probably be the Jeffra of this season. Ty, I think
I think that's kind of an insult. She's not Jeffra.
Okay, there you go. Ty, I think he is in a good position, but he could get in trouble at some day. People may see him as a threat from this point on. He is capable of winning immunities. He is one of the most loved survivors ever, and he even has an idol. But for some reasons, I get the sense that the bronze may screw him up. Somehow get his idol with a lie or a false promise and then vote him out. The bad boys need another victim, you know. Nick, ugh. I still don't like him and probably won't ever. He has absolutely no chance of winning. Would be a perfect delusional goat, but I would love to see him as the merge boot. Neil, he just has no airtime. We aren't getting more than what is absolutely necessary of his game, which makes me believe that he is a non-entity in the long game. I do not agree. Dwayne does not agree. Yes, he has an idol. Yes, he has good relationships. Yes, he could go very far. Yes, he has what it takes to win it. Do I believe that he will? Absolutely not. His edit is just too lackluster. Debbie, the shining star of this season. She is such a comical character, and you just have to like that. She makes every scene entertaining, even if they involve Nick. The editors love her, which was so obvious when she had her confessional speaking about her model career, and just before she finished, they put Debbie, part-time model, on the screen. That kind of stuff is just hilarious. I hope she goes far, but I hope for her self-protection that she does not go into the final 2 or 3. I don't know. I think she'd be pretty good in the final 2 or 3.
I think she would too. I think her and Ty, though, are making too many friends to be taken too far unless they start winning challenges.
Yeah. Rogeezy wrote, Brad Culpepper crossed out his vote in Blood versus Water.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you, chat room. Thank you, Rogeezy. Joe, how many times will he get hurt until something big happens? Every week, the poor old man gets some kind of cut, bruise, etc. He is tough, but his gameplay is meh. Right before and right after the immunity challenge, he got 2 confessionals where he said that Peter has to go, and he still voted with Peter. What? That gameplay was just wishy-washy. He had obviously no clue what will happen if they stay in a split vote, and that he is possibly sacrificing his own life for his declared enemy. Aubrey, she made the biggest move this week, and I think it was a good move, but she is now in an awkward spot at the merge. She may lost Joe's trust, but it looked like she was closer with Neil and Debbie before the split, so they may reconnect. However, I feel like she may be in danger in the near future. You know, I think Debbie may see Aubrey as a threat.
Yeah, but that was another point that I forgot to make, how big a risk that she took, because if they didn't merge, they would be in trouble. Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's see if this season keeps being great. So far, we can all be satisfied that that's it for me. Good luck in the Mikko challenge. Thank you, Martin. Martin is our procurer of questions for the Mikko challenge, which I can't wait to do tonight against one of our listeners. All right. Greetings from Germany, Martin. Next, we have Emily from Finland. David, do you have this up? Or do you want me to
I need the link.
I'll just read it. I'll just read it. I am really enjoying this season, and I also liked this episode. Hope it keeps going as well as it has so far. I really like the challenges that they had. I would have loved to play in the basket one. In the other challenge, me and my mom talked that they should have moved the blocks on as one big mass. not just poke them one at a time. Now I'll give my thoughts on the players and their games. Chandlo, Jason. He didn't get any airtime, which is a bad sign because when was the last time the winner of the season didn't get any confessionals in one episode? I don't know. Off the top of my mind, I'd say it was on South Pacific with Sophie, but I might be wrong. Sydney. We didn't see anything from her, and this is the second episode when it happened. It probably means that she won't win. Michelle, she got confessionals about turning on Nick, which I think will happen in the next episode. Nick, he started getting a lot of confessionals tonight, which will make me think that he'll be the merge boot. Neil, it's a shame that we didn't see almost anything from him, and the only time we saw something from him was when he found the idol. Debbie, dear CBS, hide your winners better. I'm calling it. It's obvious that she wins. She is getting a great edit all the time, and she is dominating the airtime. I like her as a player and character, but if she wins, it's obvious. And I had a chance to take her in my draft that I did with my brother, but I chose Joe. We have Drafter from Caramoan on words, and both of us have always picked the winner, except in Caramoan when we got spoiled that Cochran would win, so neither of us took him. And in San Juan del Sur, when one of our friends picked Natalie. I picked Tyson, Tony, and Jeremy, and he picked Mick. I'm not sure who he meant. M-I-C-K-E? Do you know?
Mick. No, not off the top of my head.
I couldn't figure it out. It would be embarrassing to not pick the winner, and when I know that she would go far. Gondol. Scott is doing a good job getting to know Ty, and he has bronze on the other side, but I don't see him getting to know any other people, so I don't see him winning. I don't know. He did a pretty good job getting to know Ty and Julia and Anna. He did a good job there. Right. Ty, love him, and he is great, and I hope he gets really far. Joe, he is too loyal, and that'll be his downfall. Julia, I was really afraid that she would get voted out, but she didn't. I'm afraid that she'll be the Jeffra of the season. Wait, didn't Martin say that too?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think they may be suddenly taken out for no reason because
Yeah.
they certainly don't mean on this savvy level.
Yeah. So we got a German and a Finlander. I don't know what you call a Finlander. Someone from Finland.
Yeah.
A Finnish. Finnish?
Is he finished? Is that it?
Yeah, I think so. Both think that she's Jeffra. Anyway. Aubrey. Aubrey. I'm going through my voice change, David.
Yeah.
It's my second puberty. Aubrey. I think she did the right move with voting out Peter, even if Ty and Julia lied to her, because I still think she would have flipped at the merge. I think he would have flipped at the merge. Boot, a.k.a. Obama, a.k.a. Peter, he played the flip card too much and went home because of that. He shouldn't have been so obvious, and he should have stayed with the beauty plus Scott, because with flip-flopping, they didn't trust him and voted him out because of that. And I called that he would get voted out at the swap or merge, and I also told that I got Garrett vibes from him, and I still picked him in my fantasy draft. Best player, drum roll, please. What? You still don't have a drum roll sound effect, Dwayne? Gosh. Oh, yeah? Boom. Take that, buddy. Well, actually, don't bother. Oh, great. Thanks. Actually, don't bother. Because I'm not sure who played it best at Condol. Probably Ty, because he convinced Aubrey to flip, and I don't have any idea who it should be from Chandlo tribe. Because I don't. Oh, he meant Gondol. Okay. Sorry. Probably Ty, because he convinced Aubrey to flip, and I don't have any idea who it should be from the Chandlo tribe, because I don't have any idea about who is actually in power at that tribe. Hey, I have an idea. I'll let you guys decide. What do you think? Best player from tonight's episode.
I would love to say Aubrey, but I think Michelle and Julia both did good, but I'm going to say Aubrey because of what they were just pointing out in the emails, and that not only did she get rid of a number that would have made them targets as brains, but she got rid of somebody she knows she can't trust.
Right.
So I'd say tonight's episode was Aubrey. I mean, that was a tough decision she made.
Yeah. Predictions. It will be something to do with balls, and I think that Ty will win immunity. No innuendo intended, and Nick will get booted out. This was your ticked off friend from Finland. See, or I suppose hear you guys later. Good job, buddy. Rion in our chat room says, is there a chance Jeff didn't hype this season because he doesn't like the eventual winner, ergo a woman, or he knew this season was gold and didn't want a one world situation where he cried wolf? I'm leaning more towards the former, the woman thing.
Yeah, I just noted that. I said two alphas probably go out fifth and fourth, and there's 3 women in the final.
Yep. I would not be surprised at all. I got to set up my Will the Giant Ninja feedback because it's on my phone. Here we go. Will the Giant Ninja from Wonder Lake.
What's up, guys? It's Will from Wonder Lake again, a.k.a. the Giant Ninja. Well, I got to say, it is fantastic having the band back together again. Dwayne and David, as I like to call them, Dwavid, make an awesome team. And as wonderful as it is to have the Survivor fill-ins every now and then, it's nice to hear D&D, the way Survivor Talk with D&D is supposed to go. That said, my feedback this week is going to be all Aubrey all the time, because I really want to talk through her decision at Tribal Council, which I suspect you guys have already talked about ad nauseum. So I hope I'm not doubling up thoughts too much, but I wanted to throw my 2 cents out there. First of all, I love Aubrey. I think she's fantastic. She's great TV. She's fun to watch. She looks at the game in a unique way, which I really appreciate. Remember that first vote where she had to decide whether she was going to go with Peter and Liz or not. She didn't really decide on strategic grounds. She decided on what she called emotional intelligence grounds. She kind of went by who she liked more, who she trusted more, and who she thought was going to be more stable. It wasn't a game decision as much as it was a social decision, though admittedly many people would say that the fact that it was a social decision makes it pure game. Having said that, I want to be upfront with something. I didn't understand her move to flip her vote at Tribal Council. And so I wanted to offer my critiques of it. And hopefully, Dwayne and David, you guys can convince me that I'm wrong and that Aubrey's decision was in her best interest. But right now, I just don't think it was. And here's my line of thinking. Number one, she had an opportunity to go into the merge 5-3-3. 5 brains, 3 bronze, 3 beauties. And the only way her 5 doesn't hold a majority is if everybody else in the game gets on the same page. Now, yes, there was a risk that Dr. Peter Obama would not be loyal to the brains, especially after a merge, but it would have been in his best interest to stay loyal to the brains, at least for a while, number one. And number two, there's no reason to think that Julia, the person that she kept in order to flip her vote, would have been loyal to the brains moving forward. So I think they would have been better off holding on to their 5-3-3 majority and trusting that those 2 strange coalitions of 3 people each are not going to all be on the same page, that they can get one to join them and take a 6-5 majority. Number two, she confuses and perhaps loses credibility with Joe. Obviously, she had talked with Joe about keeping Peter, and more importantly, she had talked with Joe about changing their mind and voting Peter out. And Joe was adamant. No, we talked about this. We made a decision. We're going with our decision. I'm not changing my vote. We're voting Julia out. For Aubrey to say okay before Tribal Council and then to change her vote can't sit well with Joe, who I imagine is all about loyalty and reliability. And I'm worried about that relationship moving forward because of her decision. Number three, why write Julia, cross it out, and then write Peter? And the response is probably, well, because she really was going to vote out Julia and she changed her mind. Then my gosh, Aubrey, grab a new piece of parchment, rip the other one up, fold it up, put it in your pocket, do something. Don't write one name, cross it out, and leave that visible for everybody. That's not going to make Julia want to work with you later. That's going to tell Julia, yep, I was gone. She wanted me gone, but she was willing to keep me to vote out someone else. That's not loyalty. That's not working together. That's not commitment. That's just self-preservation. And I don't know that that's going to build anything with her. And finally, number 4, if Aubrey was absolutely determined to change her vote, she should have waited until after a tie to do it. Why? The answer is because she didn't know what the Beauties and Scott were going to do. Sure, she thought they were going to vote for Peter, and she was going to make it a 4-vote majority. But what if she was wrong? What if they were voting for her or Joe, and she switched her vote to Peter, resulting in what would have been a 3-2-1 vote, and she or Joe gets voted out, all because she didn't wait for the tie vote? I think for those 4 reasons, I think she made a mistake. I really do, but I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Later, peeps. Will at the Giant Ninja.
I think right off that the first point he made is that they go in as 5 and the others go in as 6. So she wouldn't know what Deb's been up to on the other side. She wouldn't know whether or not Deb's pulled somebody in. So you're risking going 6 against 5. Not only that, as he pointed out, Peter is the optimal person to flip. He's going to go to the other side, and she's going to be down again. You know, and what's to say that Deb doesn't go over the other side as well? She's made new friends, people she wants to work with. I don't know. I still think she made the right decision because she goes in with even numbers to Beauty. Right. But the one thing that could hurt her was that she didn't cover up Julia's name.
Okay, I have a theory about that, but go ahead.
And I also think that she asked for another parchment and they said, no, this is great TV. Just draw a line through it and write down the other name.
Yeah. But
at the same time, it just, I don't know. Joe's got to see around that. Joe's got to be more flexible to understand that you can't just, that's not smart. You can't lock in a vote and not consider the alternatives.
Yeah.
What's your thought?
What you said. I absolutely think that she asked if she could use another parchment or started to, and they told her no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they want that drama.
Just draw a line through it and you'll be fine.
Yeah. Sorry. Can't do that. Wouldn't be right. Wouldn't be prudent. All right. It's time for iTunes reviews. Well, it would be, but we don't have any. Y'all, it's been a month since anyone has left a new iTunes review. We've had some people give us 5 stars, which is great. And that does help. But the best way for our show to continue to be seen on iTunes and stay up there in those top areas when you actually select Survivor or when you search for Survivor is the more iTunes reviews we get. So get on our website, scroll down. There's a Survivor Talk with D&D square right to the left of the featured videos, and select that and leave us an iTunes review. Thank you all very much for doing that. Power rankings, David and Colton Cumby go after it every single week. This week, they both had Peter at number 9. So they both gained 9 points, which means Colton is still ahead by 19 points, I think.
Yeah.
But David, don't give up.
Well, I'm not giving up, but man, this week he and I had 4 people exactly the same.
Right.
And we had like 3 others one off. So we were very close.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the Mikko Challenge.
The Mikko Challenge, an ongoing battle of memory power and observation skills between the 2 Ds of Survivor podcasting, David and Wayne. Now mates, chivvy along. I'm off to see a man about a dog.
Well, I'm going to have to change that, aren't I?
Somebody didn't listen to the soundbite before he played
because now it is me against one of our listeners. And the way you get to challenge me, which, by the way, my wife said we get more participation if they were battling you, since you always win. Thank you, honey. If you want to battle me in the Mikko Challenge.
I love her confidence.
If you want to battle me, then every week starting on Wednesday, email us on feedback, or just, I don't care, anytime, email us on feedback, make it Mikko Challenge, give us your name and your number, even if it's an international number, I can still call it using Skype. So the only thing is you got to be awake whenever we do it. All right.
Yep.
So here we go. And we had 2 people on this very short notice. First time we've ever done this. We had 2 people. One of them asked if we could go ahead and take his name out because he was really tired and wanted to go to bed. So we are calling Jordan Shekowitz. All right. So here we go. We're going to call Jordan Shekowitz on her phone. Here we go. We're calling Jordan. It is ringing. I feel like David Letterman.
We have to sing happy birthday to her.
Is it her birthday today?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's not going to sound right if we both do it. So you do
it. You do it. I have no voice.
Is this Jordan Shekowitz?
Yes, it is.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jordan. Happy birthday to you. Now it's going to get tagged on Google Hangouts. Thanks a lot, David.
Thank you.
Hi, Jordan.
Hey.
So you were randomly picked to compete against me in the Mikko challenge. Are you up to the challenge, my friend?
I am absolutely up to the challenge.
Oh, great. I'm probably going to get beat by a girl.
When I sent you the thing, to sign up for it or whatever, I was like, okay, I have to go watch the episode again just in case. And I had all these plans to watch it tonight, and I have not rewatched it. So we'll see how it goes.
Already covering yourself if it doesn't go well.
But Ian's listening, right?
Exactly.
Yes. All right, y'all listen. Let's see how Jordan does. David has questions. He is going to ask us. We get the same questions, Jordan. All right.
Okay.
So you will answer yours first, and I will write down my answer to prove that I'm not cheating off of you. Okay?
Okay.
So you don't answer until I say I have. David is now in charge of the Mikko challenge.
All right. Good
All
luck.
right. Oh, you don't have to wish him that. He doesn't need
Good
that.
luck. Are you kidding? I'm going to kill you. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, you ready? Here's your first quote. You get
All
7 quotes, and then there's 3 questions.
All right, here we go.
All right, the first quote is, "This game is evolving."
Oh, crud. This game is evolving.
This game is evolving.
I hate this game. Do you already know the answer, Jordan?
I did not hear the question. I didn't hear anything.
Wait,
See, I don't think.
You don't hear David?
Nope.
Arg. Okay. The first quote is, "This game is evolving." All right. This game is evolving. That is the first.
So do you have your phone hooked up to the system, or is it just playing?
We'll talk about that later. I can't fix it right now, David. I'm sorry.
I know.
All right, Jordan. Do you know who said this game is evolving? Wait, don't tell me yet. I'm trying to think of my answer.
Oh, okay. Well, if it makes me feel any better, I really don't know.
Okay, I don't know either, but I have
guess.
I have my answer written down. Go ahead.
I'm gonna guess. Let's see.
Oh, she's stalling so I can text her the answer.
Oh.
Yeah, that she's stalling so you can give her the answer, David. That's what's going on.
I want to say a girl, but I want to say Peter. I'll go with Peter.
That is my answer as well. Peter, who is it, David?
You're both correct.
We're both correct. It's Peter.
Nice. Oh, good.
Awesome. All right, let me try something right now. If I put this on... Nope, there's nothing I can do about this, David.
Wow.
I don't know what we're going to do because we have a patron podcast coming up. Hope I get it fixed before then.
Yeah, I do too. Okay.
All right, next question.
Quote number 2.
Quote number 2.
He's kind of like cancer.
He's kind of like cancer. He's kind of like cancer. Who said that? Oh, I know. I have my answer written down, Jordan.
Okay. Well, I feel like they were talking about Peter.
Uh-huh. So it was obviously Ty.
Probably either Aubrey or Joe.
Uh huh.
I'm going to go with Aubrey.
She goes with Aubrey. David, I go with Joe. What's the right answer?
Unfortunately, Joe is correct.
Joe is correct.
Oh, no.
I have finally found someone I can beat in the Mikko challenge. I'm sure you're proud, Jordan. It's early.
So proud.
It's early yet. All right. Go ahead, David.
All right. Quote number 3.
Quote number 3.
Time to play. Play or go home.
Time to play. Play or go home. Jordan, I hate to tell you this, but I know exactly who said that. Yeah, because that was the title of the episode. Come on, who said that? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I'm not going to do that to you. David does that to me. It makes me mad.
Say it again.
It's time to play. Play or go home. It's time to play. Play or go home.
Well, actually, it's just time to play.
I'm sorry.
I have no idea.
Well, who tried to play really big this week? Who?
I'm going to choose Debbie.
She chose Debbie. I
Sure,
choose.
that's not right.
I choose Peter. The answer is.
The answer,
I
answer
remember
is
him saying that.
Yes.
Nick.
It was not Nick.
It was Nick. He said
Oh,
it in a
crap.
confessional.
I can't believe I missed that. Ah!
I'm like, dude, that's your guy getting
I
title
remember
points.
Peter saying that, though.
Jordan, you missed it too. At least,
I
you
did.
know what? At least you admitted you weren't sure, and I was all confident. You know, it's like when you're arguing with Ian, and he knows he's right, but he was wrong.
Exactly. It happens
Exactly.
all the time.
That's right. All right, David. Quote number 4.
Quote number 4. I do not want to do that again.
I do not want to do that again. I do not want to do that again. I'm going to go out on a limb on this one. I have my answer written down.
Okay.
Wait, you're not watching live, are you? Because I just showed my answer.
Me? No.
Okay.
No,
I'm
her
looking at a
no.
picture of the cast so that it
All
helps
right.
me, maybe.
All right.
You have it written down, right?
Yes, I have it written down.
Okay. So I feel like it was somebody. Oh, Michelle.
Oh, is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Okay, that's my answer as well. Michelle, are we right?
No, Michelle didn't go to tribal. Ty went to tribal and said, I do not want to do that again.
Hey, it didn't say someone went to tribal and said it.
What
Don't
would you not want to do
insult
again?
us. Don't
Tell her
insult
the
us.
answer. Tell her the answer.
Oh, the answer was Ty, and David got all condescending, got all Nick on us.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. Michelle did not go to
Because
tribal council. Ty did, and it was Ty.
I almost said it was somebody. I thought it was somebody who went to tribal council, but then I thought it was Michelle after losing that one challenge.
Exactly. David. She was all down on herself, and she would easily say, I don't want to do that again.
Yeah.
I
Gosh,
should have played
David.
this week.
You're such a Nick right now. All right, next quote, David. Quote number 5.
I don't need to be carried, bro.
Oh, this is easy. I don't need to be carried, bro. I have mine written down.
Michelle.
Yes, it's Michelle. I wrote Michelle as well. David?
Yes, you're both right.
Michelle. Woo! All right, so I have 3 correct. How many does she have correct? Do you know, David?
2.
I think I have 2.
2. Oh, I'm winning. All right. Quote number 6, David.
I'm just watching all this go down.
I'm just watching all this go down. I'm just watching all this go down. Huh. Well, it wasn't her. She said one word the whole time. It wasn't. Okay, I have my name.
I'm just watching all this go down.
Yep, this is your chance to catch me because I have no idea. I have an educated guess.
I have no idea either.
Oh,
I feel like.
wait, I'm changing my answer.
Oh, no, you can't.
Oh, okay.
I remember who it is. Do you know?
Well, no, I do not.
All right.
I
Well,
feel like there's somebody on the tribal, like before going to tribal council.
okay.
I want to say Julia, but I feel like it might have been Scott or Ty, but I'm going to say I'll go with Julia. That was my first thought.
Okay, her answer is Julia. I pulled an Aubrey, wrote Julia, scratched it out, and wrote Peter.
It was Peter.
Wow!
Tell her.
Oh,
Good
sorry.
for me.
It was Peter. You know what's going to happen? People are going to start hating the Mikko challenge because if I start winning, they're going to be mad.
Well, you have to win by 5 since you watched it twice. She didn't get to watch it twice.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What, Jordan?
I said, so should I start getting really mad right now? since
Yeah.
I'm losing?
Yeah, you need to talk about how I'm getting easier questions than you and stuff.
Your questions are out here. It's not fair.
See,
fair.
Jordan's a true fan of the show, the Survivor Talk with D&D show. She's
right.
not a recruit. All right, David. Quote number 7.
We have our own secret weapon.
We have our own secret weapon. All right, I have my answer.
Oh my gosh.
Remember, he watched it twice.
You're right. Good.
We have our own secret answer.
So all you future listeners, make sure you watch it twice before you challenge. Offer your
Yes.
challenges.
This is your chance.
I don't know this one either. So, how about Ty?
Ty. She says Ty, David.
Mhm.
I said Scott.
Unfortunately, you're both wrong. It was Debbie talking about Nick.
Oh, of course. AKA. I'm sorry. It was Debbie talking about Nick. AKA
Oh,
Adonis. Yeah. If
I
I
thought it might be Ty talking about Scott.
Yeah, if I had just thought about that a little bit longer. All right, we are now to the question section. There will be 3 questions. David,
All right. This first question is going to be worth 2 points.
first
1
question
point
is
for
worth
each right answer.
2 points. 1 point for each right answer.
All right. Entering the immunity challenge.
Entering the immunity challenge.
Who carried the tribe flags?
Who carried the tribe flags? Oh
Oh my
gosh.
goodness.
Entering the immunity challenge. Who carried the tribe flags? All right, I got this one. Hold on. Okay, I got my answer. Think about it, Jordan. Who always is in the front of the line? Sorry, I should have done that. Pulling the David again.
No, you shouldn't do that.
It's okay. I don't know who's always in the front of the line anyway. I can't even remember who's on.
Tell her to completely ignore your front of the line comment.
David said, completely ignore my front of the line comment. Oh, yeah, because it's usually the person at the back of the line. All right,
It's
hold on.
usually the person at the back
Thank
of the
you,
line.
David, for helping me with that. So let's see. Without
Well, you tell her what I told you.
Hey, David, you're not supposed to be helping him.
No, I'm the one that said it.
No, you try to throw. Yeah, you were throwing her off, and I wanted to make sure that she knew that
Yeah.
you were.
Yeah, it's not
Right,
always
you
the
write it
person.
down.
It's not always the person at the front of the line. I'll just say it that way.
Oh, if she could. Where's I'm going to tell her. I'm going to message her.
Did you write yours down?
David's gonna. Yes, mine are written down.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
There are 2 people carrying the tribe flags. Let's go with.
Hold on. I accidentally put 2 people from the same tribe. Okay, got it.
All right, I'm gonna go with Peter and Jason.
Okay, she went with Peter and Jason, David.
Okay.
I'm going with Ty and Sydney.
Oh, I almost said Sydney.
Well,
David, what's
I'm
the answer?
glad she didn't listen to you because it was Scott and Jason.
Scott and Jason.
So Jordan picks up 1 point. You pick up 0.
All right.
I got one right.
Good job.
Yep.
Good job.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
This next question is worth 1 point.
1 point. This question is worth 1 point.
Okay.
All right. Here
Wait,
we
are
go.
we tied right now?
I think so.
No, you're 1 point ahead.
Who's 1 point ahead?
You are.
I am. I am
Yes.
1 point ahead.
Oh,
Yes.
Sorry.
Okay. All right.
All right. Question number 9.
This is what it feels like to be David. Go ahead.
How many times
How many times
did Jeff call
in
and out at the reward challenge?
In and out at the reward challenge. How many times did Jeff call in and out at the reward challenge?
The buoy was shot and it went in and came out.
The buoy was shot and it went in and out.
Yeah. How many times did Jeff call in and out?
Oh.
Wow. See, this one should have been 3 points for right on, 2 points for one off, 1 point for two off. But I'm not Martin, so I didn't make it. All right, Jordan. Shot in the dark.
Ready?
Yes, I have mine written down.
Okay. Okay, I am going to guess 7.
And I guessed 8.
Oh.
The correct answer is only
Correct answer
3.
is only 3. Really?
Yep, just 3.
Wow.
Really?
Does that surprise you, Jordan? That surprises me.
He probably said it about 60
Yeah,
times.
I
If you look at
feel
all the
like
buoys on the
I
ground,
say
but
it all the time.
I only said it
Yeah.
3 times.
All right, only 3 times. Last question, Jordan. Who will win the
Oh,
Mikko
goodness.
Challenge? How many points is this one worth, David?
This is worth 1 point, so she can only tie.
1 point. So you can tie, at
Oh,
which
no.
point, if you tie, David will ask a tiebreaker question that he'll make up on the
Okay.
spot.
All the pressure's on.
David looked at me like, really?
Yep.
It's like 12:30. It's like 12 o'clock midnight over here. I can't think that hard. All right, David, ask us our last question.
Which letters are written on Julia's baseball cap?
Which letters are written on Julia's baseball cap? I'm sorry, Jordan. I'm going to beat you on this.
Uh-oh.
See, I kind of want to make David have to do a tiebreaker question, so I'm thinking about getting it wrong on purpose.
I can do a bonus question.
Yeah, David will do a
Well,
bonus question
I don't-
worth 3.
I will tell you that I have no idea.
All right. Well, just think of some university's initials and put them up there.
Think about the meet and greet with her.
Think about the meet
Did
and
you
greet.
write yours down?
Yes, mine's written down.
Okay.
The initials on her cap. No.
Is it a dark blue hat?
I don't know.
It was dark. I don't remember.
It was dark
I
hat.
feel like
Yes, it's a dark hat.
I'm picturing a dark blue hat.
Uh-huh. Dark blue hat.
All right. Completely random guess, but I'm gonna go with BC.
BC. You think she goes to a college and not a university?
Oh, so I should say BU.
All right. So what's your answer?
Oh, my gut said BC, so
All
I'm
right.
gonna stick with that.
She says BC. I say BU. David?
It is
Oh.
BU.
It is indeed BU. My wife looked it up. There are 15 colleges with the initials BU. So there you go. My friend
Oh.
Jordan, I am ahead of you by 2 points. So David is going to come up with a 3-point bonus question, probably
To give me a chance.
perfectly designed for you. He's probably already messaged you the answer, even as we speak. I wouldn't doubt it at all. David, bonus question, please.
All right. It is Survivor related. So you got to repeat everything I say.
It is Survivor related.
Okay.
Here we go.
Who was?
Okay.
No, just do me a sentence at a time.
No, you repeat as what I say.
Okay. All right. Who was?
The first winner
Oh, great. Really, David? The first winner
of the Durham Warrior Survival Challenge
of the Durham Warriors Survival Challenge. Like I said,
for 3 points.
Ooh, I know.
of course you know. And I don't have any freaking idea.
You didn't mean it?
Now everybody's happy again. All right. First winner of the Durham Warriors Survival Challenge. Well, it wasn't her husband because he got voted out. I remember. He talked about it.
But he didn't
know
compete. He didn't compete the first year.
I
So,
can give you a very small hint.
okay. So the
Ian
winner.
was not in season 1.
All right. So the winner was at last year's Durham Warrior Survival Challenge. Were they at the last
Yeah.
year's challenge?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Did I
Yes,
talk to them
you-
often?
am
I think
sure
you
that
did. I met him.
I'm sure that you met this person.
All right.
Yeah. Super nice person.
Well, they're all super nice.
Yes.
It was an awesome weekend. All right. I am writing
want a
down
hint?
my answer. Okay, I have written down my answer.
All right.
This
The
bonus
winner
question.
of season 1, right?
The winner of season
Yes.
one was a stupid idea on my part.
No, this is the season that I played in.
Nice, David. Really nice.
It was Russell O'Kane.
Russell, what?
Russell O'Kane. That would be exactly correct. I mean,
E-A-I-N.
Wow.
Tell her that.
Amazing.
perfectly correct. Yes.
My answer was John. Try to go with the most common name in the entire world. So you won this week's Mikko challenge.
Happy birthday, Jordan.
Woo!
Yeah. Happy birthday, Jordan. All
Thank
right.
you.
Well,
Such a wonderful birthday present.
I know. How cool is that? Well, I think I'd been back whenever I was listening to the Lost podcast. I would have been pretty pumped if I got to be on the air with them. That'd be pretty awesome. So,
Yeah, but we're not
fun is
them.
that?
I know. And on my birthday, nonetheless.
I know. I bet Ian didn't give you this nice of a present.
Absolutely not.
There you go. He's
Ian's in the back going, wait a minute.
no, Ian's. Yeah. All right. Anyway, wonderful, Jordan. Thank you for being our first contestant on the Mikko challenge. You know,
Thank you for having me.
you will always be the first one. Always.
First contestant, first
There
winner.
will never be another first one.
No, there won't. It was pretty amazing and pretty fun.
She might be a trivia question down the road.
Yeah, that I'll probably miss.
Well, I appreciate you having me on as the first
Absolutely. Also,
contestant.
another advantage of you being on is that we figured out that my little phone thing isn't working the way I thought it would. So I'm going to have to come up with something else before April 3rd. So there you go. All right, Jordan, thank you for being on the show.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ah, that was fun, David.
That was cool.
That was a lot of fun. Woo! Rion said that he won that. Well, Rion, if you want to play against me, you're online. You're listening, watching live. Feedback at survivortalkwithdnd.com. Give us your name and your phone number, even if it's international, and we will call you on Skype, and hopefully I will figure out how to make this work, by golly. All right. Woo! Playing the D&D Survivor Challenge. Well, we have the oh no, we don't have the results because David can't see them. Go to our website, scroll down to the D&D Survivor Challenge results, and they will be up probably sometime tomorrow on Friday when I have a chance after I rewire my stereo on my new Honda S2000, which is Rion. I'll wait till it works. LOL. Thanks a lot, Rion. Gosh. Dude, I'll probably have it working by next week. I will figure this out. All right. Hey, if you want to hear it, Joe was with me last week. It was a great show. Although you wouldn't know it by my co-host because he didn't bother to listen, but it was a great show.
I started to listen and then I got busy and I hadn't been able to finish yet. So I will go back and listen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If you like our show, please take that extra click and shop Amazon using the links on our website and our Facebook group. Every purchase you make, I don't care if it's $1.50 something, doesn't cost you a cent more, and it helps a lot because it helps a lot. I am an Amazon affiliate, so there you go. You can get even more D&D by joining our always family-friendly Facebook group at stwdd.com/Facebook and follow on Twitter at Survivor_talk. Check out our Patreon page and become a D&D patron. $2 more a month, and you get to see the D&D extra video each week, usually put out on Sunday or Monday, although this week it was on Tuesday, but at least you get it. We're going to talk about the upcoming episode and have a great, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful time on that. Usually anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes of David and I talking. And thanks for tuning in, sharing our show with others, subscribing on iTunes, Stitcher, and YouTube, and for being part of the D&D family. David, I need to go back and see what you were wanting to share.
I'm going to share Colton's comment. He just sent in his rankings, which
Okay.
this past week it took us almost a week to get our rankings in. We're both busy, but he said this week is hard. Honestly, this season in general is hard to rank. It's one of the most entertaining that I've seen in a while. Honestly, it's very well edited, and I'm loving how suspenseful each episode is. But with the medevacs, tribe swaps, and now the merge, it makes ranking so hard. But I'd much rather be struggling to rank them than being right every week and this being an incredibly boring season. I couldn't agree more.
Go. Colton Cumby, ladies and gentlemen. All right, my friends. So, David, the show's over. Hope you enjoyed it. All right. So, David, I bought a car.
Oh, okay. Is that what that meant? We stopped talking about Survivor now.
Yeah, I bought a car.
I saw.
So I told you about 15, 20 years ago, I guess 15 years ago, I decided after going to California and renting a convertible.
Oh, yeah.
That I was going to have a convertible one day, right? I had like a 4-year-old kid and a 2-year-old kid and no other kid at the time or something like that. And decided, well, no, I had older kids than that, 7 and 5 and 2. And, but so I've been waiting a long time. 3 years ago, I found an incredible deal on a Mazda Miata. The one convertible I said I never wanted, but it was a convertible, right? Right? So, but last week, I kept driving by this black Honda S2000 with black rims and just beautiful car. It is the convertible I said I always wanted. So I was driving the convertible I said I never wanted. And I kept driving past the convertible that I kept saying I always did want. Right? Right. So, make a long story short, guess who's driving an all-black 2007 Honda S2000 off a used car lot?
Timothy.
No, and he's upset about it, actually. Today he was like, he had to go to Walmart to get rice because he dropped his phone in water.
Yeah.
He goes, "Can I drive your car?" And I was like, "No." And he goes, "Why can't I drive your car? I don't understand. It's not like I can't drive a stick shift or something." No, they're not driving my car. And I want to tell you why they're not driving the car.
Yes.
Because it takes every ounce of 47 years of wisdom and discipline to not drive that car like a crazy maniac. It has got so much freaking power. It is amazing. I mean, you know how like when you're driving in your neighborhood and you're like still in second gear and you touch the gas pedal and you're like, oops, I can be driving 70 down the interstate in 6th gear and have that same feeling if I punch the pedal.
I'll never forget the first time I drove a 300ZX and I was on Battlefield Boulevard. If you remember Battlefield, the main road.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And in second gear, I was probably doing 55 and it's a 45 and I was getting ready to go in third gear.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That's not good.
Yeah.
So is this seating, is it bigger or smaller than your previous car?
The car is definitely bigger than the Miata.
Okay, good.
I have a good 4 to 5 inches above my head, whereas in the Miata it was like right here.
Yeah.
And I have more arm room, although it has the racing seats. So, like when you sit in it, it like you can feel the seat on either side of you. Yeah. So it has that.
And it came with a buff on the stick. That's pretty cool.
With the no, I actually put last season's merge buff is on my what's it called? Gear
Stick
shifter. Yeah.
What's it called? A stick.
But anyway, so no, they're not driving unless I'm with them. And this is how you know I'm 46, almost 47 years old. In fact, I'm 47 years old in 2 weeks, buddy. My birthday's on April 11th. So I'm driving it, my first tank of gas. I'm excited because I got 19 miles to gallon, which means I'm not driving the car like it was meant to be driven. And why am I not driving the car the way it's meant to be driven? Because I got to pay for the gas. But it's the truth. Anyway, it is. Oh my gosh, it's a beautiful car. So now what makes it bad though is my wife was gone for the weekend when I bought it.
Yeah. But she knew about it, right?
Well, we had a open discussion about it on last Wednesday night. And we had agreed that we didn't need 4 car payments because we have 3 already. And we didn't need a 4th one.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, yeah, you're right. And I couldn't stop thinking about it, David. This is my dream car. It's like, I'm 46 years old. This is my dream car. I want this car.
I could tell because our message chat kept filling up with pictures of this black car. Did
And-
you see this picture? Did you see this picture? I'm sending
Yeah.
you this picture again. Did you see this picture? This is the car I really want.
Yeah.
Hey,
So
look up.
Connie's,
Did you see this picture?
Yeah.
Here's the picture again.
hey, David, I know it's 3 a.m., but check out the rims.
Here's a better picture of the rims.
Yeah. So, I mean, so I'm thinking, I don't even get to say no on this, right? I mean, this is my dream car, and I don't even, I'm sounding really horrible right now. So I kept texting her like all day Thursday. At Thursday night, she leaves and goes to Mobile to go to a college preview day with my son, Timothy, my youngest. My youngest is going to college in a year and a half. Oh my gosh. I need a Honda S2000. Anyway, so I'm texting her and she's like, I'm trying to enjoy my trip with my son. Leave me alone. We've already discussed this. It's over. Right?
Oh, no, it's not.
So Friday, I'm like testing her all morning. Connie, you don't understand. I've got to have this car. It's my dream car. I need you to let me make the decision. Right? Please let me make this decision.
Which means let me have the car, please.
No, I almost didn't buy it. I was sitting at home. I'm jumping ahead. I was sitting at home perfectly happy that I wasn't getting the car because the guy didn't take my offer.
Mhm.
And then he called back. But anyway, so here I am thinking, I'm driving a 1999 Miata, right?
Mhm.
My oldest son, I bought him a Kia Optima, right? Because he got a full ride to college. And when I say full ride, I mean tuition, room, and board. Dude, the car costs less than a year of college. So
Yeah.
happy for him. Bought him a car. I bought a nice 2007 or 2006 Jetta a Jetta diesel, a Volkswagen Jetta for my middle son to drive to college. It's my car because he didn't earn it, but it's my car. So he's driving that. Connie's driving a hot looking Chevrolet Equinox. And Timothy's driving that 2003 Jetta I bought whenever I lived over there with y'all when I first wanted a convertible.
Yeah, it's got about 400,000 miles on
Yeah. And I'm thinking, and I'm driving this Miata. I want my car. I want my car. So finally, Connie, I bug her so much that finally she goes, I'm letting go, which I took as do whatever you want. I'm tired of talking about it. So
Oh, wow.
I got in my Miata and I drove to the one of those side of the road used car places.
Yeah.
I had already talked the guy down a pretty good amount. All right.
Mhm.
I'd already talked him down a pretty good amount. I said, I want to take the car to my mechanic. And he said, okay. So I get in the car. I drive to my mechanic. My mechanic, I've taken him 3 cars. He's never driven one of them. He hops right in the driver's seat to drive this one.
Yeah.
All right. He drives this one like it was meant to be driven, testing it out. And then he does he's like listens to it and stuff like that. Runs great. Loves the car. We put it up on the rack and we looked underneath it and everything like that. And just really took a lot of time looking at the car. And he goes, it's a great car. It wasn't designed to drive back and forth to work, but if you want it. And I was like, it was designed for me to drive back and forth to work.
That's right.
But what's crazy about it is when you drive this car, David, you feel everything. Like it's not like driving in your granddaddy's Cadillac where you're just kind of smoothly driving down the road, even if it's a potholed road. No, if there's a Snicker bar on the road, I feel it. Right? I mean, it is like, you feel everything. I don't care. I love the car. So anyway, so he goes, this. You're going to have to buy new tires for it. And I said, okay, I'll take that. How much are they going to be? I'll picked out my tires and everything like that. Went back to the dealer, offered him an amount out the door. So I offered him an amount with tax, title, and license. This is how much I'll pay you out the door.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, he pulled the whole, I can't do that.
I got to make something off of it.
I got to make something. Heck, I spent more on it at the auction because it's so clean. It's like, all right. And I made a stupid mistake. I'm so good at buying cars And I made a stupid mistake, and I went to the middle before I made him go to the middle.
Yeah.
Right? Because I was right in the middle. I was at a certain amount, 500, and he was at, and I had already talked him down to 1,000 above that, 500.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay, fine. This number, 0, straight up, middle, in between, an even 1,000, and I'll drive the car off a lot. And he goes, well, come on into my office. And he does the whole, this is how much money I'm making on the car. And I go, okay, whatever. If you're not taking my deal, I'm going to go home. I won't buy the car. He goes, I'm sorry. And, then like the manager comes out, I'm sorry, we just can't do that, And I go, okay, fine. And I said, it just wasn't meant to be. I'm not going to buy it. So I went home and I was working on the website. I was working on our website, something I do a lot. I was working on our website, and it'd been about an hour and a half, and he calls. Well, we're going to go ahead and do it for that amount that you said, the one that I went up to.
Yeah.
And I probably could have got it for $750.
Yeah, you should have said that offer was 90 minutes ago. It expired 89 minutes ago.
Yeah, but then he might not have let me buy the car. So
you had to have the car.
I said, okay, I'll be up there. And I went and bought it.
So
then I drove it home.
Yes.
And I gave my wife so many hints through text messages and stuff that I had gotten the car. And she still didn't figure it out. No, I didn't send her a picture.
You didn't send a picture.
I just sent little hints. Like, I've been working all day working on stereo stuff in the car, Yeah. And I'm in a really good mood today. And stuff like that. I feel like a real man in a real car.
She's saying, "Oh boy, maybe he's cleaning the house." Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, honey, have pneumonia, can't clean the house. But anyway, so it is sad though. When she came home from her weekend, I had done nothing in the house, which was really bad. I should have done something in the house.
Yes.
And normally I would do something in the house. So, anyways, when she finally figured it out, she goes, "Did you buy the car?" I'm assuming that was the tone. It was a text message, so I don't know.
Yes.
I didn't dare call her. All right. So text message, did you buy that car? It was that car.
Yeah.
And I wrote, yes, honey, I love you. This is what happened. And I told her the story. And she said, I'm going to bed. And but
you're sleeping in the car.
No, I'm not. But whenever she got home, my wife is awesome. She was like, you did it. And before she got home, I had sold a Miata for more than I paid for it.
There you go.
So, anyway, so this, yesterday, she walks in the house. She goes, well, I guess I got to ride in your car this weekend. And I go, I wasn't going to ask you to ride in the car. She doesn't really like convertibles that much. She goes, well, this one looks a little nicer than your Miata. It's certainly bigger. And I went, yeah, she likes the car.
He's coming around.
That's right. I do have a problem with the car, though. When I'm driving down the interstate going about 70, because I try not to go past 75, really, usually. I'm driving around going about 75, and I see this Corvette coming up behind me. I'm like, I will drive 75. I will drive 75.
Sad.
That's why I can't let my boys drive this car on their own. They will.
You're too young to be going through your midlife crisis.
They'll be killing themselves. Hey, new car or an affair? I'm picking the new car.
Oh, I hope so. Yeah.
No, I would never. I would certainly have no intention of doing the other. I promise you that.
Good.
So, anyway, that's my car story.
Good
See
story.
that was too long of a story for a D&D extra. So
Yeah.
I thought I'd share it with everybody here. Besides, that's what we do. To Survivor Talk with D&D, we always add a little bit of stuff.
Mhm.
So anyway, sold my Miata. Yay. Guess I'll let everybody go now.
Yeah, it's already Friday.
So my drummer, right? My drummer, he's probably 27, 28 years old. He walks up to me Sunday morning and he goes, it's about time you got rid of the chick car and got a real car. Oh man. It's the first time I've ever driven down the road and noticed people taking second looks and third looks at the car.
Like, who is that dork in that car?
Why is that old man driving that really nice car?
Why is he driving his son's car?
Yeah. Why is he driving his son's car? That's right. Anyway. All right, man. I'm going to let you go. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Okay. Getting a little bit of a shooting the breeze with D&D. Yeah.
Old school.
All right. See you when we, well, we're going to have to figure out this phone thing. So I'm going to have to call you, and then we're going to have to call somebody and figure out how we're going to fix this.
Yep.
So we're going to have to spend some time on it.
Oh, boy.
We'll do it after Easter because I know you got production and stuff. Right?
Which I'm not actually in right now because I have no voice.
Oh, well, there you go. All right. See you, everybody. It's been fun.
See ya.